end of the season. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Denver. The Avalanche lead the Lightning 3-1 and can win the Cup at home tonight. But ESPN's Emily Kaplan says the Avs know it won't be easy.
The last win is the hardest, and this team saw that in the Western Conference Final when they were looking to sweep the Edmonton Oilers. They did, but that game had to go to overtime.
Our Stanley Cup Game 5 coverage starts at 8 Eastern on ABC TV. Canadiens assistant Luke Richardson is expected to be named the new head coach of the Blackhawks, replacing interim coach Derek King. Wimbledon starts Monday at the All England Club. Today's draw shows Novak Djokovic as the number 1 seed. Iga Swiatek is the top women's seed. 40-year-old Serena Williams gets in on a wild card. She hasn't played a singles event since last Wimbledon.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And welcome in to After Further Review. I am not Matt Moscona.
Love you, Matt.
Musso. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Coach Eric Held with no drop. He's in the house as well. We got to get him a drop. He's becoming a regular. Welcome in. After Further Review, Troy Leboeuf. Coach Eric Held sitting in, both of our coaches, I guess, at some points of our career. We're not doing that anymore, but we're doing this today. And boy, do we have a bunch of stuff to talk about. We certainly appreciate you checking us out, listening, whether it be on YouTube, checking our beautiful faces out. You and Matt kind of look alike a little bit, you know. If you take the lid off.
He's better looking.
Yeah.
Now the hair thing, yeah, there's some similarities there, but Matt's much better looking than me.
Yeah, however you are consuming us today, we certainly appreciate it. Hang in with us. We have a lot to bring to you today. I put Coach Held on some guests. He's got us some good guests, and one of them obviously is going to be at 3:15, and that's Coach Joe Sloan, the LSU quarterback coach. So I know we're excited about having Coach Sloan.
Joe's awesome. La Tech for a decade, and great find for LSU. Nicknamed the mayor. Frank Wilson's the governor. Joe is the mayor, and both of those nicknames well received because of the rapport that they both have with all the Louisiana high school football coaches. But it's great to have Joe in Baton Rouge and at LSU.
Recruiting obviously is a big part of LSU football, and I know there was a big recruit that dropped. Everybody's been talking about. We're going to talk about it as well, among some other things, and we'll have Billy Embody of On3 Sports doing that at 3:30. We'll have Around the SEC with none other than Matt Musso will do that. We'll have Ronnie Rantz, Jumbo at 4:30, talking LSU baseball. The Rougarou, he's going to educate us on the Rougarou, and obviously the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame right now, which is a star-studded class.
Star-studded class, tremendous event. And if you've never had an opportunity to get to that in Natchitoches, you need to make your way up there to Central Louisiana. Fantastic building that they have now. That facility, it used to be housed on campus of Northwestern State in Prather Coliseum, and then they received funding to build that building downtown on Front Street. It's a tremendously attractive building and a great facility to house our Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Doug Ireland did so much, still does, and now Ronnie's involved, and they do a tremendous job.
We'll talk about that at 4:30. Coach John Brady at 5 o'clock, obviously with Tari Eason getting drafted. We'll talk about that, the number 17th pick. I know Mario and Mario Jerez and Musso show, they talked about him being at number 17, and they nailed it. He was 17, so I don't know how the bet was hedged on that. He went to the Rockets, so Coach Brady's going to also talk about Coach Matt McMahon.
John Brady, anything basketball related, such a great resource, so well spoken. a wealth of knowledge.
Told me he's playing a lot of golf. So.
Good for him. I'm sure he's knocking that handicap down into the single digits.
Color analyst for the LSU Sports Radio Network. And you got this one for us at 5:15. Aaron Schatz of Football Outsiders. What are we going to talk to Aaron about?
A little bit of analytics. He said he would talk about the Saints some, NFL, as we move closer into the NFL season. So Aaron is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to analytics and really looking inside the game. So many teams these days are employing analytics experts and building analytics departments and using those guys kind of to supplement knowledge that they already have.
I saw even at the high school level in Louisiana, Catholic High, at school you know very well, was looking for a defense and offensive analysts to be able to do stuff like that. So it's trickling down to every different level, even at the high school level. Jake Madison will talk Pels at 5:30. Nola Jake of the Locked On Pels podcast, which he does a fabulous job. Him and I were texting a little bit during the draft last night, and boy, the Pels got him a good one, and we're going to talk about it. They got two really good draft picks. They got 15 guaranteed contracts right now, Coach. I don't know what they're going to do. What they're going to stash these guys, what they're going to do with them. But we're going to talk about it throughout the show. And at the end of the show, we'll open it up for questions, and we certainly going to – I'm not going to pass up on what did we learn at the end. So remember some things that we talk about today. So, all right, let's rewind. What's going on right now? You hear all the time, oh, it's hard to host talk shows in the summertime when athletics are not going on. Not around here. It's if you do your due diligence, things will drop for you. LSU baseball just got 2 big-time transfers. Tommy White, also known as Tommy Tanks, freshman home run leader in college baseball from NC State. He has landed at LSU. That's according to Kendall Rogers. And Christian Little, big right-handed pitcher from Vanderbilt, has landed at LSU out of the transfer portal as well, along with Jake Pineda, I think you pronounce it that way, from Baylor, the shortstop. So I would say that's 3 pretty big pieces to add to this LSU team.
Big-time pieces. You know, no matter how well you do, you're always looking to better your roster. You're always looking at roster development and how can I make my roster better for the next year. I like the story Ronnie Rantz, a guest down the road today, talked about when they won the College World Series. I think it was in 91.
Right.
And they have the exit meeting, and Adrian Antonini was the catcher. And they have the exit meeting, and Skip told, I'm not going to do my Skip impersonation.
We'll let Ronnie do it.
Let Ronnie do it, and Jacques Doucet, they do it so well, so I don't want to do it and mess it up. But Antonini goes in, and Skip said right away, hey, we've got Miami, University of Miami has a scholarship for you to be their everyday catcher. You're no longer going to be the catcher for LSU. And Antonini couldn't understand, hey, I'm the starting catcher for the College World Series champion moving into next year. And after about 45 minutes of haggling and I'm sure some entertaining vocabulary, Skip convinced him to become a pitcher on the staff. So sure enough, the next year he was a pitcher. And I think he went on to have a minor league career because he was a low 90s guy. But you're always looking to develop your roster and get better, and that's what Jay Johnson has to do. And we saw how they were in a driver's seat game and just had to win one and couldn't do it. A lot of that had to do with their starting pitching, and hopefully they're able to hold on to some of those guys who could go in the draft, and hopefully those guys price themselves out and they go lower or not at all, and they come to Baton Rouge. That's what we're hoping for here if you're an LSU baseball fan.
We'll also have Neal McCready, which I should not have forgotten. He's big time from Rebel Grove. He's going to talk about Ole Miss. He's going to talk about the College World Series. We'll have him at 3:50. We had to kind of move some things around to make it work. But speaking of the College World Series, 2 teams, it was an SEC Invitational, and one of those SEC teams have punched their ticket into the finals. That'll start tomorrow. That's the Ole Miss Rebels. And you and I both coming from the coaching ranks. We've been in, I don't know if you have, but we've seen situations where things are not going well for teams and people want to make changes. Well, that was talked about at Ole Miss when they were 7-14 in the SEC. Now they're playing for a national championship. You think those people are saying anything?
Not anymore. Mike Bianco does a tremendous job, and he's been there so long, and he was talked about as a guy for the LSU job just last summer, of course. And I think Ole Miss definitely has their guy. We have our guy, the right guy, in Jay Johnson. I'm glad they hired Coach Johnson, and that Mike Bianco stayed at Ole Miss. And he's got the opportunity to prove all the naysayers wrong here. They almost didn't get in the postseason in the final 64.
One of the last teams.
One of the last teams, win a regional, win the Super, and now they're in the finals, best of two or three series in Omaha. Does a tremendous job. You saw the Twitter clip from the other day where he came out to the mound and berated his guys. And one thing was great, he berated them, and all those guys were locked in. They had eye contact, their body language was positive. And then as he walked away, some of the last words he said were positive things. And they went out and got it done, and now they're in the finals against Oklahoma.
Chew it up, spit it out, and leave it with positive. So we'll talk to Neal McCready. LSU obviously got swept by Ole Miss, got swept by Arkansas, two teams that made it into the Final Four. And obviously, Ole Miss will play Oklahoma, and that'll start tomorrow. So that's going to be a fantastic series. And obviously, more news dropped today. So much to talk about. The number one player in the country for 2023 in girls basketball, Michaela Williams of Parkway High School. You know her coach very well through your work with the LHSA. She commits to Kim Mulkey. Mulkey effect. She's a fantastic player. She reminds me, and I know this is a big comparison. She reminds me of Simone.
She has that type of aura about her, just when her presence on the court, her length, her ability to handle the ball, shooting ability, defense, you name it. How is she going to make players around her better? But Coach Kim, her big deal was when the season ended, go out there and find the best players possible, whether through signing them for the future or this current signing class, which just passed, or through the portal, just to make her roster better. Talked earlier about baseball. How do you make your roster better? And with the portal out there and so much movement, you've got to stay active in it, whether you like it or not.
Recruits. I don't care what type of recruit you are. Go to Twitter right now, at MKWill12_. At MKWill12_. This is a textbook lesson on how to recruit, how to commit to a school. Michaela Williams, go look at it. Complete class. Doesn't throw a hat to the side. Doesn't throw any shade in any other schools that were recruiting her. It's a complete class. It's well done. Go check it out. So
same way yesterday with the number one recruit in the nation in football. He sent out his first ever tweet.
He's got 50,000 followers, and he follows no one.
Correct.
So we'll obviously we'll talk about that. So we'll take a quick break. When we come back on AFR, we'll have quarterback coach Joe Sloan from the LSU Tigers. Stay with us.
AFR.
If you are even thinking about selling your home, I'm going to give you a phone number. I'm going to give you the only phone number that you will need. I'm going to give you Darren James's phone number. It's Darren's cell. Like, you can call this number, you can text this number, and you are literally calling or texting the phone number that Darren James has in his pocket or on his hip. I'm talking about the realtor that sells more homes than anybody. A guy on the Wall Street Journal is listed the top 1,000 realtors in America based on the number of homes sold. You ready? 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Of course, you can go to the website, agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need to maximize your return on the home, you want a hassle-free, pleasant experience, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back into After Further Review. Matt is on vacation, I think he might be checking the Yankees out. Who knows? Let's go watch the Braves. Right, Paul? The Braves, baby. Coach Eric Held, Troy Leboeuf filling in for the guys. We certainly appreciate you tuning in and happy to bring our next guest on. Quarterback coach for the LSU Tigers, Coach Joe Sloan. Coach, how are you?
Doing great today. How y'all doing?
Doing fantastic, great. Coach.
Coach Joe, great to have you on. Eric Held here. Great to have you in Baton Rouge with the LSU Tigers as the quarterback's coach after a decade-long career at Louisiana Tech with Coach Skip Holtz. Talk a little bit about how you made that transition from when, unfortunately, received the news that Coach Holtz would no longer be with Tech, and, of course, the staff is a casualty, and that transition where you're in limbo between schools. Talk about that, especially with a new baby and kind of new into your marriage.
Yeah, so, I think, for me, when you get into the college coaching profession, you always prepare, yourself in terms of understanding you're going to bounce around. My wife didn't exactly always sign up for that, I guess, but once she married me, I guess she did. So that's always interesting when you're getting ready to make a move with a family. But I think we're really fortunate that a lot of this moved quickly in terms of having a potential opportunity here at LSU, and then to talk with Coach Kelly and some of the beliefs and the organizational structure that I knew he was talking about and what he wanted to do at LSU and how I would potentially fit in. It just became a dream come true. So it was definitely really easy for me, and we're very fortunate, me and my family both, to be here. I'm telling you now, floored when it all came to fruition.
Coach Troy Leboeuf here. We appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy time right now with recruiting and everything. You guys are going through camps and all. Part one here, part one. How are the camps going right now as far as over at LSU? How's the reception been of the kids coming in and working at camp?
Man, we're great. I mean, and I think the camps in this state and just all of the schools here in the state who work together to make sure that we get an opportunity to see all the different talent that the state has to offer. And it was just like most years, it was the same. I mean, you talk about the turnout and all the guys that wanted to come work with Coach Kelly and our staff. I mean, we had over 500 kids, multiple times. I would imagine, I don't know the exact number, but it was in the thousands on the different prospects that came through here and worked with our staff. So, and a lot of the staffs across the state. And I think it was just an exciting time. You saw a lot of talent. I mean, you understand what we can be at LSU and LSU football with keeping our in-state talent at home.
That was the easy question, Coach. Second question is, who's going to be the starting quarterback for LSU? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to say that today, but I do want you to talk about your quarterback room. I'm the guy that buys all of preseason magazines. I love looking at those magazines. I know people, I'll go look at it online, but I like to have the magazine. They got your quarterback room highly rated in a lot of these magazines. So talk about each one of those guys and what do they bring to the table?
Yeah, I think I've been really fortunate. These guys have created an unbelievable work environment for me, and having the opportunity to work with all of them. They've worked together. They've been rooting for each other to get better. I mean, obviously they all want to be the starting quarterback at LSU, as they should. But I think their ability to have camaraderie within the room, it's been special. It makes it fun to come to work. And obviously when you look at Jaden with his experience and his ability to make a lot of different throws, plus his athleticism, and just his cool, calm demeanor that he brings in. I think he brings a lot to the table. Obviously, Miles, who's played a bunch of football and also been around for a long time, has a lot of experience and understanding of LSU and what this place is all about. And he's just consistent day in, day out. Garrett, coming off of a season where, even though he redshirted, he got a lot of game experience. And, you see his line of arm, you see his ability to move, you see a lot of the talent, and I think he did a really good job this spring of continuing to really work on the different things that he needs to progress in as a college quarterback. And Walker coming out as talented as he is and coming out of an unbelievable program over there at STM and having the chance to come in here and really get his feet wet in college football. I think you watched his progression throughout spring, and it was exciting. You started to see him understand what our offense is all about and what college football is all about. So I can't be more excited about those four guys and just how they work together and how they how they were able to build a foundation this spring, and how they're working hard this summer to prepare themselves for August.
Joe, Coach Eric again. You're one of the up-and-coming coaches, one of the hot names out there for head coaching jobs. You interviewed for a Division I head coaching job recently. Last summer we had a chance meeting, ran into each other at the Charlotte airport. I was heading to a conference. You were going to meet with your agent and give us a glimpse behind the scenes, that summer symposium that your agent hosts with other coaches who are position coaches that want to become coordinators that want to become head coaches, college guys who want to move to the NFL. Talk about that head coaching training or moving up in the world that your agent hosts every summer.
Well, Eric, I think the biggest thing is how excited I am to be the quarterback coach at LSU, and just this is a dream job for me. And walking in here, having the opportunity to work at the place that I work and live in the Baton Rouge community, me and my family couldn't be any more blessed than this. So I think right now, really, what I'm focusing on is just to, with the different relationships and the different things that I have, relationships around the country with different guys, is learning so that I can be a better coach for LSU. And obviously, all those things in the future, you never know how all that stuff's going to go. But I'm just excited about getting different knowledge so that I can make those guys in that room, in the quarterback room, be the absolute best they can be, so they're ready to perform in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night. So that's man, I'm still kind of riding high on that. So it'll be fun. It'll be an exciting summer to get around some different people and learn some different things that I can bring back here at LSU.
Two more for you, Coach. Coach Joe Sloan, the quarterback coach at LSU. We certainly appreciate your time. What does the rest of the summer look like for your guys, the quarterback room, and how's that going to work?
Well, right now, I mean, the guys are working with Coach Flint and doing, working through different meetings and working through different things physically in the weight room and on the field, and just watching their leadership come out, watching them continue to work with the receivers, work with the offensive line, and gather those guys together so that we can continue to make improvements off the spring that we need to. And that's the biggest thing. I want to see them continue to take charge, and I think they've not only are they working on themselves physically, technically, and mentally, but also start to make sure that they're gathering other guys together and bringing them with them. And that's what I've been impressed with this summer. And that's what excites us for fall, man. I can't wait.
Coach, I'd be remiss if I wouldn't let you just comment briefly. A guy that you recruited while you were at Louisiana Tech, an outstanding player, an All-American in Jalen Ferguson, who tragically is no longer with us, played at Westphal. Just talk about him and your relationship you had.
Yeah, so this goes all over, and Eric knows this. I went by St. Michael's when I first got here, and Eric helped me out with some recruiting and helped show me the ropes a little bit. And that's when I speak to when I talk about relationships in the community. Just a bunch of great guys, whether it be high school coaches or different people that are involved in high school athletics. Around this state, just really took me in and showed me a lot of things. And I still remember back to, I think Eric and I probably talked about Jay at that time, and then had the opportunity to recruit him at Westphal when he was playing for Rob Odom, and just so many great people up there. It comes from an unbelievable family with Miss Jackie and Richard, and good brothers, good two young twin sisters, and everything else. And it's just tragic. I mean, it's just tragic. My heart hurts for his family. He had an unbelievable career at Louisiana Tech and really set the example and set the tone for a lot of young guys who came after him. And I know my heart hurts along with a lot of other young men who were his teammates, other coaches, other staff members who had the opportunity to be around Jay.
Coach, we appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. You're living your dream out. Keep working hard, and we certainly look forward to seeing what the Tigers do in the fall.
Man, I'm fired up. You guys are doing a great job standing in. They may just keep you on.
I don't know about that. The professional will be back. But thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Joe.
Hey, Held, you got a Stanley Cup pick?
Avalanche.
All right, guys. Y'all have fun.
He's got the horse picks, too. He gives us that, too. So, thank you, Coach.
All
right, Coach Joe Sloan.
The mayor.
The mayor. We didn't call him the mayor.
We didn't want to put him on the spot. He's humble. But one thing when he talked about Ferguson, he was able to name every member of his family when he recruited. That's
a great point. When he was talking about that, young coaches, listen, you got to have a relationship. High school coaches, you got to have a relationship with your players. There's too much going on in the world right now. You got to Coach Bruce said it at the Advocate Star of Stars. I attended. Kid from Ascension Catholic, Bryce Leonard, was chosen as one of the male athletes, the male athlete of the year. And I remember Coach Bruce's speech. He says, we can teach them this. We can teach them how to block, tackle, run, all that good stuff. But if you don't have a relationship with your players, at the end of the day, you're not accomplishing anything. Because it's not just about how many scholarships your players can get. I don't want to get my soapbox, but I'm passionate about it. You got to have a relationship with them.
It's number one thing. Those little things like Joe was talking about, knowing those names, and Rob Odom, the head coach at West Feliciana at that time, he remembered Rob, probably still talks to Rob, communicates with.
Because he probably talks to thousands of guys and sees thousands of families.
And he remembers everybody. That's Joe. That's a personality trait that he has that serves him so well, and that's why he has such a great rapport with the guys he recruits. And at the schools, the coaches remember him. He's got a great relationship. But one thing about Joe is he will have guys who go elsewhere, who decide to commit and go play somewhere else. They'll apologize to Joe because they feel like they're disappointing him because he's done such a great job building a relationship. And Joe doesn't get his feelings hurt, doesn't get mad like a lot of other coaches do. Part of the business. And you never know down the road where that comes into play with transfer portal now, or when Joe moves on and is maybe a coordinator somewhere else, that guy becomes a GA for you. Never know.
Absolutely. We're bumping up on this break right here because we want to get it in, and we want to get Billy Embody on 3 Sports. Pretty big quarterback committed to somewhere not in the state of Louisiana. We'll talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001. 752-0001. Love telling you about River City's 1 Hour Air because I love telling you about great companies that treat people right. That's River City's 1 Hour Air. They make you feel valued, and they make you feel comfortable. When you schedule service with River City's 1 Hour Air, when technicians come into the house, you get a phone call, an email, and a text message alerting you the technician's on the way. You get a text message with a picture, a photo, name, and reviews of that technician who's coming to your house. They take the time to explain everything. They're very thorough. They have equipment on the truck because they're so big on continuing education. They have equipment on the truck other companies don't even own, never even heard of. River City's 1 Hour Air. Nights, holidays, weekends, they'll always come out. They'll never charge you extra. River City's 1 Hour Air. Got a problem with your home central AC? Call River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Leboeuf for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Join 100.7 The Tiger and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension, Saturday, June 25th at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center in Gonzales.
Enjoy live music from Ted Durr, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, and Jamie Badron and the Kickin' Cajuns. Make sure you grab a delicious plate of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safes Jambalaya Cook-Off to raise money for the Alzheimer's services of the capital area.
The Swamp Pop Music Festival with Supreme Chevrolet.
Louisiana's country station.
100.7 The Tiger.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2021 Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Gladiators on our lot now with $5,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. That's where you can check them out, Michelli.com. Remember, at Michelli, they do offer ISO 17025 accreditation. You can learn more at Michelli.com and other accreditations and standard calibrations as well. Michelli.com. All of their different services and products are at the website. The website is a great virtual font of resources. So many times clients will say, oh, I didn't know you did that. Go to Michelli.com. The track system that they offer is a great asset. Track records, assets, and calibrations. It's an acronym. And what this allows you to do is track the status of the calibration of your devices. And then it also gives you a record of those calibrations at your fingertip online for free 24/7, 365, so you can be more efficient. Michelli Weighing and Measurement.
Back on after further review, Troy Leboeuf and Coach Eric Held. Let's go to the phone lines real quick, and let's get our guy from On3 Sports, Billy Embody. Billy, what's up?
Not much, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I'm looking at the most liked college football commitment posts / tweets. For a guy that follows no one, this is as of a couple hours ago, he had 213 likes on his commitment post. The next closest was Travis Hunter, who went to Jackson State, 39,000 likes. And obviously Arch Manning is the guy I'm talking about. And this guy follows no one, makes no tweets, but he's going to the University of Texas. Give us the quick recap.
Yeah, this is one where I've even a couple weeks ago, I was on with 104.5, somebody I think in the morning, and said, "Man, I'm just going to have to believe it when I see it that Arch Manning is going to end up at Texas." You know, there was just so much about the SEC and Alabama or Georgia, and continuing that family run through the SEC, and he ends up going to Texas, and so credit to Steve Sarkisian for recruiting him really, really hard from the get-go, putting all their chips in that Arch Manning basket. They do have Quinn Ewers on campus, so now it's going to be a really interesting quarterback competition that they've got. But Arch Manning, I think, is somebody that has a chance to be a first-round draft pick, be right at the top, and be that number one overall pick. And for Steve Sarkisian, they need Arch Manning to be that player early on because you don't know what you have with Quinn Ewers, and so for them to land him and do it before his senior year, and honestly right after his official visit, for them to just lock him up, it's just a credit to what they were able to do throughout the entire recruitment and get him to Austin.
We were talking to Coach Joe Sloan earlier, LSU quarterback coach, and they obviously talked about the camps, how it's been going with camps and everything. It's been great feedback, it seems like. Everybody wants to know LSU's only got 6 commits for the 2023 class. Should they start panicking? I don't think so. I think we're going to start seeing some stuff really start dropping after the July 4th holiday.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And the first person to maybe get that momentum going was on 3 4-star wide receiver Kyle Parker committing yesterday. And he's somebody that Louisville made it very difficult on. This is somebody that his dad went to LSU. He's from Louisiana originally. His dad is from New Orleans, has a lot of ties in the state, but ends up wanting to go to LSU. Got an offer late in the process, and sometimes you see those late offers bite people in the rear end because kids feel slighted or for whatever reason don't want to give them the opportunity to still be recruited. But he did, and he came and worked out with Cortez Hankton and earned that offer in a private workout. And so credit to Kyle Parker. He's been on a big tear as far as his spring, his summer, and he's now that first one to really get things jump-started. I think around, the 1st of July, July 4th, July 7th, there's Jeremiah Hughes who's going to announce his decision, and he was somebody that LSU's been pressing for. So that kind of first week of July is pretty big in seeing how much momentum maybe LSU has built over the last few weeks, or if maybe they don't end up with some of the players they feel confident on. It is maybe a sign that there might be a reason to kind of worry about how this class ends up. But right now there's some confidence that LSU is going to start July off with a little bit of a bang.
Billy, Eric Held here with AFR. Again, great for you to be here with us. I want to go back to Arch Manning. Your opinion on the sentiment with Matt Luke, the former O-line coach at Georgia, and his sudden retirement in the offseason. How do you feel that affected Georgia's chances of landing Arch?
Yeah, I think it played a role. I still think that, there was constant Texas buzz throughout the entire recruitment. There was a sense that Georgia had, given him a lot to think about. There's some thought that Alabama was going to even win out with their pitch to kind of have a Mac and Tua quarterback class where one quarterback's going to play right away and the other one's going to wait his turn, but they're both going to end up more than all right in Tuscaloosa. But really, Texas was consistent throughout this entire process. And I think for those reasons, that's why they were the favorite throughout the spring and throughout the summer, and they end up, landing Arch Manning. And I do think Matt Luke's, retirement probably played a little bit of a role, but, that was maybe it was just kind of Georgia's, lack of a better term, crutch in terms of why maybe they didn't end up landing him.
I'll tell you this, Billy, and I'll leave you with this. I did a basketball game, and Parkview was playing Newman in basketball, and Matt Luke was there. And he was watching Arch come off the bench to play a couple minutes. And he's not a bad basketball player, but I knew right away. They had a bunch of coaches in the sand, but I noticed Coach Luke, and he talked to him quite a bit after the game. You could tell there was a relationship there. The other thing, I was up in Austin last week, speaking of Texas, and talked to a guy that you and I both know, Jamon Tapp, who's a freshman on the Texas team, and I asked him about Arch, and he just started smiling. So who knows, man? Who knows? He didn't say anything else.
Yeah, I think they probably had that one under lock and key. If anybody lets out any secrets, they'd probably be taken out for a little fun time with the strength and conditioning coach at the very least. This is I got to give the Mannings a little bit of credit. I think they knew exactly what this was going to be like as far as the potential for a circus, but they never really allowed it to be that way. They'll get criticized in a way for maybe not doing Elite 11 or not doing some of the 7-on-7 that I would say, quote unquote, normal prospects or high end prospects would do. But they've gone through their process, and before the calendars even flipped to July, he's made his college decision. And, you look at around the country, Jaden Rashada, Dante Moore, those guys are looking at places that, Arch Manning wasn't really in play too much. And their processes have now become, I would say, circuses. And so for the Mannings to go ahead and take their official visits and say, we know exactly where we want to go, and we're going to make that decision, I think they handled it the right way. And, everyone was kind of under lock and key with it.
Follow him on Twitter, @BillyEmbody, dropping news. Got some great articles right now. I'm looking at on3.com. Keep up the great work. Congrats on the marriage, man. I heard the story from the marriage deal. That had to be pretty wild.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that. It was fun. Having Steph Curry and the Warriors roll through right before the ceremony or something else. But
we could start like a little series on that, man. It could be like a Netflix. Take care, Billy.
Yeah. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, Billy Embody of On3. Let's go around the SEC with Matt Musso.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions.
Let's recap the NBA draft. Yesterday, mentioned that potentially 8 SEC players could hear their names called. All 8 of them heard their names called. It started with Jabari Smith from Auburn, going number 3 overall to the Rockets. Became the highest draft pick in Auburn basketball history. Of course, SEC and National Freshman of the Year. Did slip a bit, though. Was the odds-on favorite to go number 1. Shaedon Sharpe from Kentucky followed number 7 overall by the Blazers. Sharpe became the 33rd first-rounder in Coach Cal's time in Lexington. Gross. Tari Eason was next off the board from your LSU Fighting Tigers. Number 17 overall by the Rockets. The 17th player all-time to go in the first round for LSU gives the Tigers 2 first-rounders in the last 2 drafts. Auburn wasn't done as Walker Kessler would follow at number 22 overall by the Grizzlies, but his rights were traded to Minnesota because the NBA draft is stupid. National Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. Kessler's selection marked the first time in program history that Auburn has had two players selected in the first round of the same draft. Ty Washington, 29th overall by the Grizzlies. Again, his rights were traded to Houston. Out of Kentucky, the 34th first-rounder in Coach Cal's time at Kentucky. And Jalen Williams from Arkansas, 34th overall by the Thunder. Kennedy Chandler from Tennessee, 38th overall by the Spurs, but he'll play with the Memphis Grizzlies. J.D. Davidson, the final SEC player from Alabama, number 53 overall by the Celtics. In total, 8 SEC players from 6 different schools. And Auburn and Kentucky lead the way with 2 each. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products.
Thank you, Musso. We appreciate it. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little College World Series. Rebel Girls, Neal, McCready, after this break.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. For more than 60 years, Clegg's Nursery has served the greater Baton Rouge area. You know the 4 locations. Sigourney Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Spring has sprung and summer is here, y'all. Summer is here, and it is the perfect time to get by Clegg's Nursery. If you want to get into that lawn and get rid of all those weeds, they've got the weed killing cocktail for your lawn. You want to add a pop of color to your flower beds, to your patio pots. Nobody has the selection that Clegg's does, as their full greenhouses with truckloads of plants and flowers arriving every single day. Any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. And remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in. The Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join 100.7 The Tiger and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension, Saturday, June 25th at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center in Gonzales.
Enjoy live music from Ted Durr, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, and Jamie Badron and the Kickin' Cajuns. Make sure you grab a delicious plate of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safe's Jambalaya Cook-Off to raise money for the Alzheimer's services of the capital area.
The Swamp Pop Music Festival with Supreme Chevrolet.
Louisiana's country station.
100.7 The Tiger.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
I've been doing business with Leboeuf for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-20.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Troy Leboeuf and Eric Held back on AFR. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in a frequent caller, frequent guest on the show. We've had him on before. Matt has had him on. That's Neal McCready of Rebel Grove, covering the Ole Miss Rebels. Neal, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for squeezing us in, man. I appreciate you being flexible. I know you got something to jump on in a few minutes, but I know you got to be excited. Basically, Ole Miss defying the odds earlier in the season. They were top 25. It didn't last there very long. They had a 7-14 record, out of the top 25. Then, boom, they get hot at the end of the season. They were one of the last 4 teams that got in. They went 8-1, battled their way into the College World Series finals, and now they get to play. Coach Mike Bianco, the former LSU Tiger, gets to play for a national championship. Talk about this ride.
Yeah, they were the last team in. They weren't one of the last 4. They were the last one. I mean, we woke up on that Monday morning, Memorial Day, really anticipating covering a story later that day that Mike was being let go. That was the expectation for what was coming, and I think it was realistic. They got the last spot in. And like you mentioned, they go down to Coral Gables and they go 3-0. They go to Hattiesburg and they go 2-0, and they get through the winners bracket. And they ran into a little adversity against Arkansas the other night when they lost a game where Ole Miss had an edge, and Arkansas forced a game yesterday. And Dylan DeLucia on short rest pitched probably the best game in the history of Ole Miss baseball. So it's an incredible story. I keep telling people this, that it's a story that if you wrote it out in a script and you handed it to Hollywood, they turned it down because it wasn't realistic enough.
Neal, Eric Held, thanks for joining us. When you bring up Mike Bianco and you're in your Baton Rouge, you've got to bring this up. How concerned was the Ole Miss fan base last summer that they would lose Mike Bianco?
Well, I think they thought he was going to get the job. I don't think he would have interviewed for the job unless he thought he was getting the job. I mean, I think everybody dances around this topic. A year ago, Ole Miss kind of looked at this and said, hey, maybe this is getting stale. Mike had been here for 21 years. His alma mater was open. He and Cammie they both went to school there. They met there. He has a son that just finished his baseball career there. I mean, Mike he's very fond of LSU, as he should be. And, I know that he and Skip Bertman are close, and I don't think there was any way that Mike would have gone and physically interviewed for that job without believing he was getting it. And further, he wouldn't have gone and interviewed for that job unless Ole Miss kind of basically encouraged him to interview. I think Ole Miss thought Mike would get the job. I think Ole Miss was working on bringing in Dan McDonnell from Louisville. I mean, this thing was long down the road, and yet I don't think everybody checked with Scott Woodward, apparently, because I don't think Woodward ever intended to hire Bianco. But I think Mike, through back channels, believed that he had the job. And there were a lot of people down there at LSU that were lobbying for him, as you remember. And, again, I'm being repetitive. I just don't think that interview happens unless Mike knew he was getting the gig, and something fell apart in the communication.
Neal, we appreciate your time. As you know, hard break coming up. But, man, enjoy this. We can't wait. I want to follow you over the next 3 days. I want to see your reactions. We're going to be watching it, pulling for you guys, and good luck to the Rebels.
I appreciate the time. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Neal McCready of Rebel Grove. I mean, that's –
Had to ask.
No, I think it's a great question.
Great answer.
I mean, it is.
Just reliving, going back a year and everything he said. I forgot about McDonnell from Louisville being the guy that the Rebels administration was targeting to replace him.
Right. I mean, he's a professional. He's done this a long time. He knows. I promise you, he had a few stories ready when it came to which story he was going to put out there. He had some stuff written up. All right. Moving on in the postseason. If they don't get selected for the NCAA tournament, he had his story ready. I promise you. I would think most journalists do, saying goodbye.
Unbelievable how fine that line was. One of the last teams in, if not the last team, getting in and saving the job. And look where they are now.
All those people are hiding right now. They wanted to get rid of him. I don't think he's going anywhere now.
Good.
That'll do it for hour number 1. We certainly appreciate all of our guests. We're coming at you. Hour number 2, top of the hour. After this top of the hour break, we got to catch up on a lot of stuff that we hadn't had a chance to talk about yet. Don't go anywhere. This is AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138. 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. They do it all. And at Relief Windows, they will never take $1 from you until you are thrilled with the work. Seriously, no deposit, no down payment. They do not want $1 from you until you are thrilled with the work that they do. That's Relief Windows. And what a time of year. We are moving to the winter months, and this is the time of year when those leaky, drafty windows can become costly. Of course, lets the cold air in, the warm air from your heater out. Make your home more energy efficient. Lower your monthly energy bills. Increase your home's resale value with energy-efficient replacement windows from Relief Windows. 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Right before a scheduled arbitration hearing today, Aaron Judge and the Yankees agree on a $19 million contract for this season. Judge could be on his way to a career year, hitting .304 with a major league leading 27 home runs. And ESPN's Buster Olney says that could hurt the Yankees' chances to sign him beyond this year.
I think this bidding is going to go beyond where the Yankees are comfortable. This is starting to remind me a lot of when Albert Pujols was with the Cardinals and he became a free agent at the end of 2011.
Buster Olney on Greeny. Buster with thoughts on Aaron Judge. Royals catcher Salvador Perez goes on the injured list. He'll have ligament surgery on his left thumb. The team is expecting Perez to be back on the field this season. The Avalanche are 15-3 in this year's playoffs. A 16th win wraps up the Stanley Cup, and it could happen on home ice tonight in Denver. Our Game 5 coverage starts at 8 Eastern on ABC TV.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Welcome back in our number 2 on After Further Review on a big Friday. We are sitting between, Coach, we're sitting between these folks, hopefully listening and enjoying. It was a fast first hour. We'll recap it in a minute and talk about, we'll set up next hour. Hopefully they are enjoying our discussion, sitting between them and driving home probably and finishing up, heading into the weekend. Although some people work those 410s or and get those Fridays off. You and I don't do that. So
you do, maybe.
Every once in a while. Stay pretty busy. But Troy Leboeuf and Eric Held sitting in, Matthew Musso and Paul O'Neill. We certainly appreciate those guys taking care of us. What a fast first hour. I mean, we had a chance to talk to Billy Embody, Neal McCready. I was just texting with Neal. He says, you do know that I'm not an Ole Miss fan, which I kind of knew that, but like I told him, it's still exciting to be able to cover when you get to write about a team that's playing well. So he is a graduate of ULM. So he's got ties. He told me his dad taught at Ruston at Louisiana Tech. So in education, you and I coming out of the education field as well. So got a chance to talk to Neal as they prepare for the College World Series. The best 2 out of 3. That starts tomorrow. And then obviously we had Joe Sloan, who I was super impressed with in the first hour. He seems like he is certainly a guy that's going to be on the radar of programs, maybe at the group of 5 level, to be able to jump up if he wants to jump into a coordinator role at a Power 5 and then go from there. I'm not sure, but I think he certainly has a bright future.
Definitely a bright future. I think he's pretty well set as the quarterbacks coach at LSU, which is equivalent to a lot of offensive coordinator jobs out there. He's well compensated, but that's never been something that Joe's been concerned about, just player development, building relationships, and as he said, the rest will take care of himself.
NBA draft last night. Had a chance to watch. I like to watch it just for some of the suits. And Tari Eason certainly had a suit. We'll talk to Coach John Brady at 5 o'clock, and we'll talk Tari Eason, who was selected by the Rockets. I'm looking on CBSSports.com one of the winners of the Houston Rockets. You know, they pick the winners of the draft, who does well and all. The Rockets obviously got Jabari Smith, whose dad played at LSU, who played for John Brady. We'll talk about that when we have him on. So he was the number 3 pick. But then they got Tari Eason at number 17, and that pretty much what they say. After landing Smith, the Rockets nabbed another of the draft's top defenders in LSU's Tari Eason. Add all that up, and on the night in which they were expected to emphasize offense, they did a great job of balancing their roster. Cherry on top, they got the steal of the draft at number 29, Ty Washington, who played with Kentucky. Kentucky guard was expected to be a candidate for Houston at number 17. He dropped. They landed him 12 spots later, and that gave him a chance to play with future NBA star Jalen Green in the backcourt. So the Rockets were certainly a winner. The Pelicans, I thought, did a fantastic job with Dyson Daniels, the number 8 pick, and E.J. Liddell. I'm going to confess something. I sent a message to E.J. Liddell. I slid into his DMs, as the young folks would say. Tried to get him to come on. He never responded. But I tried. You know, I followed him on Twitter. I sent him a little message. I'll see if he was going to come on. He played at Ohio State. Very good player. 19 points, nearly 8 rebounds a game. He looks like a guy that'll get down there and do the dirty work. You need those type of players. Obviously, expecting Zion to come back. He looks fantastic right now. I saw on Twitter some kids posted he was playing pickup basketball with them out in New Orleans. But you throw E.J. Liddell in there, they're going to have to make some tough choices on, you know, Griffin, the GM's going to have to make some tough choices on who's going to stay on this team and who's not, you know.
15 guaranteed contracts, you said?
Yes.
There will be.
There's 15 right now for the Pels. So
that's a great problem to have. Like you said, Dyson Daniels, that's a great draft pick.
The Australian who's versatile.
Right.
Really good defender.
Great defender. How many guys talk about, when they're asked about their game, how many guys in this day and age talk first about how well they defend in this day and age?
No, it's a scoring league.
Correct.
I mean,
so he's a guy with a great wingspan, a guy that loves to defend. Everyone that interviewed him in the pre-draft workouts and communicated with him talked about how mature he was for a 19-year-old, which is awesome. But they also talked about how well he defends the basket and defends 1 through 4 and can even defend 5s out there, which is great. So the versatility is great. Then you have E.J. Liddell. This was definitely building some depth. You've got a solid starting 5, especially with Zion returning. And now you've got depth to where you're building your bench, where you got maybe a 7 or 8 can come off the bench, or even if Liddell's, say, a 9 or a 10, because those teams with deeper benches, the way things work in the NBA with 82-game schedule and guys missing games here or there, guys can fill in, get more minutes. And then the Carlo Matkovic pick at the very end, who knows what will happen there. Maybe you'll find a gem, and maybe there'll be some development. He'll do some things fast in the draft, in the G League, maybe
in Birmingham,
or in the summer draft league coming up. You never know. So it's definitely a solid draft for the Pelicans.
So Dyson Daniels went to number 8 to New Orleans, and they talk of that. CBS Sports talks about them being a winner. San Antonio Spurs as well. Jeremy Sochan at number 9 to San Antonio. Both excellent defenders. Daniels is a better ball handler and playmaker. Sochan has untapped potential in that area as well. Both share the same weakness that would have been much more significant on almost any other team. They're not great shooters, but Dyson Daniels does not have to be a scorer for the Pelicans.
Like we said, and you talked about what the analysts said and what even Daniel said, the first part of my game that gets me to where I am, to gets me to where I'm the number 8 overall pick, is my defense. And it's you watch NBA games, and you got 130 to 125 or 140 to 132 finals. That's the final score. Here's a guy that is going to help you keep scores hopefully in the 80s or even the 90s, give yourself a chance to win and score 12, 14 points down the road. he even said, hey, I know where I need to develop my game, and it's on the offensive end, shooting the ball. But he does drive the basket well, has a great floater. But it all starts on the defensive side, and that's where they're trying to build this team.
Look at the greatest players, if you think about it.
Jordan.
Great defender. Name some more.
Bill Russell.
Great defender.
Now you got two here, Chamberlain and Kareem, who were 7-foot guys. But Magic Johnson,
really
he was
good
a guy
defender.
that played defense. Kobe Bryant.
Great defender. All defensive team. LeBron James, great defender. Isaiah Thomas, great defender. Even a guy like Larry Bird, he was not a great defender. I always wanted to be Larry Bird. Like that was my guy, you know. But he just had such quick hands. He could steal the ball. He rebounded the basketball. So some of the greatest players of all time, Steph Curry, I think he's a really good defender.
Not Bill Rodman. I was thinking of Bill Laimbeer, but with those Pistons teams.
Oh, Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that, what did he average in his career? 6 or 7 points a game?
But about 17 rebounds.
Unbelievable. I looked at some of those stat lines when Rodman was with the Bulls and the Pistons. The number of rebounds per game, unbelievable.
So the moral to all of this, the Pelicans have enough scoring. How are these guys going to mesh in if they get 10 to 12 minutes a game? We'll talk about it more with Jake Madison at 5:30, Locked on Pels. Also, coming up in the next segment, we got to go back to some baseball talk because Jay Johnson's on fire right now on some of the guys he's bringing in. I know the guys are playing out in the summer leagues and everything. We'll maybe talk about that a little bit, but I do want to talk about, obviously, Tommy White, NC State transfer coming to LSU, Christian Little from Vanderbilt, who gives you another strong arm. They picked the kid up from, his last name escapes me right now, from Creighton a couple of weeks ago out of the portal. So then they pick up the shortstop from Baylor. So starting to build that team. You know, everybody was talking about, oh, man, all these players are going into the transfer portal right now. There's a reason for that. They've had exit interviews. You know how all that stuff works.
Yeah, those exit interviews, those are some tough conversations that you have to have because sometimes you just don't fit the head coach's philosophy. He comes in, he's got his first year, and then he realizes, hey, this player, great kid, has some skills, has some talent, but doesn't fit what I believe in, and it's not going to work. And a lot of times these guys are able to get them placed at another school, which is a cool deal, especially through how the portal works now. They can go from one place to the next. You don't want to send them on to another Southeastern Conference school, but you may find a place for them where Johnson comes from out in the Pac-12 to where you say, hey, look, USC needs a starting left fielder. You're going to be the 4th outfielder at best. You might even be the 5th outfielder. Hey, come compete in the fall if it doesn't work. But I'll tell you right now, you go out there, we've already had conversations. You're going to be the starting left fielder, everyday left fielder, or everyday second baseman. Those are hard conversations that you have, but coaches will refer players to other coaches where they're not going to beat you unless it's further in the season in the regionals.
Sometimes they can't help it.
Right, but giving those kids a chance, coaches are great with that, and they communicate with each other and try and help each other out. But sometimes you just don't fit in a program for whatever reason. There's always a place for you to play.
Absolutely. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll talk about the transfer portal a little bit as it continues to help LSU. And we'll talk about what Coach Mulkey's doing with the basketball team. John Brady will be on with us at 5 o'clock, straight up 5 o'clock, to talk some LSU hoops, what Matt McMahon's doing. And I want to definitely get his opinion on Tari Eason going number 17 to the Rockets. We'll be back on AFR.
AFR.
I am so thrilled to welcome Schatz Electric to the AFR family. Generac automatic standby generators. When the power goes out, your Generac home standby generator from Schatz Electric goes to work. CESofLA.com. CESofLA.com. Last year during Ida, we lost power for nearly a week. So many of you lived that again. That was the last straw for me and my family. Actually, it was the last straw for Erica. She was like, get a generator. So we did. We got an automatic standby generator from Generac over at with the folks at Schatz Electric. And the great thing about Schatz is last year after Ida, when generators were so hard to come by and everybody was trying to get them, John Schutz did an amazing thing. He went and bought a whole bunch of them, even though they were on months-long order. Well, now they have a ton of inventory, and they are ready to install, and they only use in-house installers. It's more affordable than you think for a Generac home standby generator from Schutz Electric. Look them up online, cesofla.com.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-back.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Back on AFR, Troy Leboeuf, Eric Held sitting in along with Matt Moscona and Paul O'Neal. Almost halfway through the show, man. It goes so darn fast.
Goes by so fast. It really does. Blink of an eye. Blink and you miss it.
Had somebody ask about the LSU baseball transfer portal. We touched on it a little bit. Rattle off some of those names that are in the portal right now.
Lefty pitcher Jacob Hasty. DiGiacomo, the outfielder. Collier Cranford, infielder. Brennan Holt, another infielder headed to Oklahoma State. Brody Dross from Barb. Will Safford from University Lab. Anthony Priester from Live Oak. Michael Fowler, pitcher from Alabama. Alex Brady. He was a pitcher from the state of Washington. Musso, did we miss anybody?
I think that's the latest.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
think that's all of them for right now, yeah.
Musso's a resident authority.
Absolutely. Dylan T-Break is the guy I couldn't think of for Creighton.
For Creighton, 2-time pitcher of the year in the Big East. Hello.
Supposed to be a good player. I mean, obviously, you picked up Jake Pineda, however you want to say it.
Starting shortstop.
Possible.
We had the conversation off air with Musso. Thompson moves somewhere else in the infield.
What if Mikey Romero and Gavin Guidry come?
You
got a good problem.
Then you throw a party.
you get excited. Now, obviously, when those guys are getting drafted, what are they telling those organizations? You know, the area scouts. Those guys they not only talk to area scouts. As you know, Coach, there's 3 different levels: an area, a regional. They're talking to national scouts.
Right.
When the national scouts come see you, like the kid at Episcopal, Luke Hill, played him a couple of times this season. My son plays at Ascension Catholic. They had national scouts watching him. Now, he's slated to go to Arizona State, but they're talking about Luke Hill being a 4th or 5th round pick just because of what he does with his bat, and he's almost a 5'2" guy.
Sure. Just like a couple weeks ago, or it was about a month ago, the LHSCA All-Star Game was at Louisiana Christian University in Pineville, and there were about 5 or 6 kids from Louisiana high schools that scouts showed up to watch the game on Friday night, and then Saturday afternoon, Ethan Fry from Rose Pine, who's a catcher,
Fantastic.
And he put on a hitting display in
Gatorade
DP.
Player of the Year, right?
Yes, hitting display on Friday afternoon in practice. And one thing I really like about him, he graduated that night. And this isn't to say anything negative about other guys, but other guys were graduating on Friday night, and they came on Saturday to play, which is awesome. Fry came to hit, to take BP and be around everybody, meet the coaches, and then drove back and graduated Friday night, and then came on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, there's numbers that are thrown out there, and whether or not they fit what that organization projects, where they're going to draft them. And if a guy comes in and, you know, he says, hey, I want $1 million, and there are teams out there that have that guy slotted at 1.5 or upper ones or $2 million, and you come in under and you say, I only want $1 million, well, that's music to the ears of that organization. So other guys price themselves out, and that just goes to show you how important it is for that kid wants to go to college and live out that commitment that they have with that program. You see that every year at LSU.
Major League Baseball draft will begin on Sunday, July 17th, ends on Tuesday, July 19th. So obviously, if you look at the guys that LSU has the number 1 recruiting class in the country, what guys are going to go, what guys are going to stay. I think you look at the top 3 or 4 or 5 guys most likely will go, but I don't know. You throw NIL in there, that could be a factor. I had a chance to go to the LSU when they went play the series over in Southern Miss, and kind of hung around with listening to some of the LSU baseball dads and stuff for tailgating and all, and just listening fascinating stories from some of those dads that those kids love playing at LSU. Although some of them are top prospects, I'm not going to mention which ones were saying what, that their sons almost feel like they want to stay, but they understand when it's their draft time and that money's offered and they have another year or 2 to go due to their age, they can go at 21, maybe being a sophomore, that they have to make that choice because that gives them a lot of leverage. If you wait till your senior year, obviously, you don't have as much leverage. But just listening to them, how much they love playing for LSU.
It's tough. You get to that where you're draft eligible and you've got time left. Like you said, if you're going to be 21, if you're going to turn 21 the year of the draft, like Gosman, he was here 2 years. Why? Because he was a older high school graduate. He turned 21 that second year, so he's eligible. He left. No brainer. However, if you're going to be a guy that's kind of like 5th round, late single digits, and you've got another year and let's say you're in that situation where you're turning 21 and you've got 2 years left, well, then you can come back. But if you only have 1 year left and you finish and you have 1 year of eligibility and you have that draft come up and you're going to be a 5th, 6th round guy, well, you almost have to go, because no matter how good of a season you have the next year, a lot of those teams, seeing it happen before, you pass up that opportunity, you want to come back, and you do. Great success. Your game doesn't slack off at all, whether you're on the mound or as a hitter.
You got to deal with international players.
All of that, and then they offer you $10,000 to sign, and you passed up your payday. So you
got to take it.
You've got to take it, and these days guys have advisors where they don't hire agents, but they have the advisor who's working for the agent, and they kind of lay everything out for the family. And usually these kids are pretty well educated, at least their parents are. Their high school coaches are educated, the ones that are going to get drafted out of high school. You look at Justin Crawford, Carl Crawford's son, he's not coming to LSU. He signed. He's a first round draft pick. Having a guy like that in your corner, your dad who had a decades-long career in the big leagues, a guy like that helps put things in perspective. Teams know who they're dealing with. Yeah. They can't BS you. They can't cut you short off the number.
He understands the ins and outs of it.
Correct. And because Carl Crawford's been there before and can say, okay, look, son, or hey, you're gonna sign for $5 million, and after the tax man gets done with us,
it's going to be
2.8. Well, yeah, it's going to be probably a little bit over $3 million, and then you map that out. Okay, of that, you're going to put this in. You're going to invest this, and then you get X amount in the rookie league, X amount a month.
You got to pay your agent.
You got to pay the agent. The agent gets his 3%. The advisor probably gets some money. There's a lot of things that happen. So then you got to look at the different levels, how much money you're going to make. It's peanuts. It's unfortunate. It's ham sandwiches in the minors.
You could play in front of 12 or 13,000 people at LSU as a freshman.
Play in front of 12 or 13 people
in the minors.
That happens.
But you get paid one way or the other. Real quick, before we go to break, we'll have Ronnie Rantz to talk some LSU baseball, Baton Rouge Rougarou, and Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame after this break. Going back to Joe Sloan's conversation, I took some notes down on he talked about each one of the quarterbacks, and that is the $1 million question. Who's going to take the first snap? Whoever takes the first snap may not be the person that remains a quarterback for all year. But on June 24th, I'm asking you right now, who takes the first quarterback?
Miles Brennan, veteran, mature. He's a guy that embodies what Brian Kelly has had at Notre Dame as a quarterback. A guy that's a leader, a guy that's mature, a guy that's consistent. He's respected in the locker room. He was a guy that had a starting position and suffered a freak injury, in which and then he ended up in the portal, and he was leaving, and then came back. You don't see that very often. Respected by the teammates, offense, defense, you name it, every kid. He's consistent. He's not a streaky kid. What you see is what you get, and he's more than good enough to win games in the SEC. And that's the epitome of Brian Kelly. He's consistent. He's great in the classroom. He's not going to do anything to embarrass you off the field, and that's a Brian Kelly signature-type player.
It's hard for me to disagree with that. I mean, if you look at what Mike Denbrock and Coach Kelly, and you throw Joe Sloan in there, what they're looking for in a quarterback, he has some of those intangibles. Jaden Daniels has some of those intangibles. I think the wild card is Nussmeier, but still a young player. You're talking about throwing a redshirt freshman out there. But I think he's going to be given an opportunity to compete, and obviously Walker Howard is going to take a redshirt. We would think.
Sure.
I know that's Jamie Howard, his dad, said that. He told that to Matt on his show months ago. So
you look at some of those Notre Dame quarterbacks through the years. Tommy Rees, who's the offense coordinator at Notre Dame, and was going to come with Kelly until they cornered him and told him, you're not leaving Notre Dame.
Threw some bucks at him.
Exactly. But Ian Book, Deshaun Kaiser, Jack Cohn, some guys of recent memory, those are typical Notre Dame Brian Kelly quarterbacks, Miles Brennan fits that cookie-cutter Notre Dame quarterback that we've seen to a T for Brian Kelly. And that's not saying anything negative about Walker Howard, Garrett Nussmeier, Arizona State transfer, Daniels. None of those. It's not saying anything negative.
You're about 70 days from when you got to make that decision, and that decision will be made at some point in camp. But it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. And obviously, you hope none of those guys get hurt. Injuries come into factor into everything. But I think LSU's quarterback room is good right now, with a chance to be great.
Deep as any quarterback room in the country. That's a great problem to have.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Ronnie Rantz coming on. He'll talk some LSU baseball, Baton Rouge Rougarou, and Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. We'll do that after this break on AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds. Remind you about our friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana. For years, I've told you so many examples of your friends and neighbors, our listeners, who have called Insurance Network of Louisiana. This process is so easy. I don't want it to be intimidating because sometimes people think insurance, I don't know, like I don't know what my coverage is. I haven't looked at it in so long. Don't be intimidated. At Insurance Network of Louisiana, the guys and gals over there are awesome, and they can walk you through the entire process. It's easy. It starts with one phone call. You call Insurance Network of Louisiana, they take a little bit of information, and then they go shop. They do all the work for you. And then they'll come back with you and let you know if they were able to find you better coverage for less money. It's basically like this, the analogy I give. Would you hire an agent if you were an athlete that could only negotiate with one team? Or would you rather hire an agent that can negotiate the best deal among all the teams? That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2021 Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Gladiators on our lot now with $5,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at RevelryTeam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Leboeuf for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Leboeuf a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Schatz. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, back on AFR, Troy Leboeuf, Eric Held, Matt Moscona, Neal. Let's go to the phone lines and bring the man that Ronnie, that was setting up for you to come into the studio. I didn't tell him that you would be on by phone. And then I also want to do a Kick Rock segment. So, Ronnie Rantz, Kick Rocks. What's up, dude?
Kick Rocks.
Great impersonation.
Sorry, brother. I'm up in Natchitoches, Louisiana, as we speak. I'm literally at the world-famous Mama's and Papa's restaurant in Natchitoches, and I am getting things set up for the Taste of Tailgating event here, celebrating the 2022 Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame class.
What a class. I had a chance to take a peek at some of those folks. So mention some of those inductees.
Well, you know, some of the stars, I guess, of this class would be like people like Kyle Williams and, you know, who, of course, who played at LSU and with the Buffalo Bills and was a national champion, Mr. Rustin himself. And then, of course, Jari Evans of the New Orleans Saints, who's Super Bowl champion, All-Pro, probably has a chance to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well, you know, one day. So pretty awesome class. Susan Jackson, former LSU gymnast, Brittany Sneed-Newman, one of the great softball pitchers of all time, helped lead LSU their first College World Series appearance over 20 years ago. Those are just some of the Hall of Famers. And then a guy who is near and dear to my heart, a friend, a fantastic human being, great coach, Tony Robichaux. The late Tony Robichaux passed away 3 years ago this week. You know, he will be represented by his family.
Hey, Ronnie, just proof that they let anyone anyone in the studio. Eric Held, how are you?
Hey, buddy, what's going on, Eric? Man, boy, I mean, we're digging down the barrel.
I tell you what, well,
I mean, Matt gave me a hard time for my fill-ins. I mean, like, what we got here?
I know.
When I told him,
but it's a former Catholic High player.
When I told him Eric Held, he said absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Catholic High in the house.
Catholic High, former coach and teacher, but a Brother Martin graduate. But
there you go.
Brothers of the Sacred Heart, close enough. One guy that's close to my heart in that induction class is Coach Claney Duplichin, who's long-time, successful, well-known. I just came back from a conference in Iowa, and two guys that were brought up were Coach Claney and Pete Boudreaux about how revered they are around the country from cross-country and track. And Coach Claney, as you know, so humble, and it's cool to watch him with cross-country every year. His teams have success, and him get excited about him. And just a humble guy. And then Eric Andelsek as well, who passed away 3 decades ago this week.
30 years ago yesterday. Unbelievable. Clanny Duplichin, there's a great picture that's in the Hall of Fame and will be on display for the next year. He's won over 64 state championships. He's sixth most in the country in state championship wins of any sport. And he, of course, as you mentioned, a beloved figure, a guy that everybody respects and appreciates. There's a great picture of him that they did in the spring at Episcopal High School. They pulled out all the 64 state championship trophies that he's won, and they have them all spread around him, and he's in the middle. It's unbelievable photo.
Great picture.
Visiting with Ronnie Rantz at sports_shorts, Saturdays 10 to 12. Is Joel Davis still with you on Sports Shorts?
He is. After all these years, Joel's like Mr. Hour number one. He's 10 to 11, and most Saturdays. Although, since you brought it up, he will not be with us tomorrow. Buzzy Heidel is filling in.
Oh,
yes,
wow. Where did you find
Heidel
Buzzy?
sighting.
What rock did he come out from under?
What tee box you mean is what he came from under. No, Buzz will be with us tomorrow. Tommy Chrysan hosting. I'm up here in Natchitoches. Of course, we've got tons of events going on with the Hall of Fame weekend. They'll be talking a lot of college baseball, obviously LSU baseball. And for this weekend, and I know that's not a popular sentiment because, like my good friend Jacob Hester used to always say, he never pulls for other SEC teams ever in any sport, no matter what. But I am an Ole Miss Rebel this weekend. Would love to see Mike Bianco take home a national championship.
I'm 100% with you on that, and I'm with Hester too. You don't want somebody else doing well because it takes away, but I am pulling. We had Neal McCready on earlier talking about that, but got to hit LSU baseball real quick. Boy,
yeah.
Coach Jay Johnson in the portal. What is going on? Tommy Tanks coming to town. Christian Little, you name it, man. He's killing it, dude.
Well, Jay and I were talking probably about halfway through the season or first third of the season, and he told me, he said, everybody's making a big deal about us having the number one recruiting class in the country, and quite frankly, I don't really pay credence to recruiting classes in baseball until they get here in August because, you sign them, but then you have to hold off the draft for another year. So, until they come in August, then I'll worry about the recruiting class. And we learned that from Turtle Thomas. I mean, he was the master of signing great players that never came to LSU. So, but Jay did say, he said, man, we're going to be probably number one in the country in the transfer portal. Just watch. And he's exactly right there. He doesn't like the transfer portal. I don't think many coaches really do. But he doesn't like having the cut players or, take players away from other coaches, some of which are friends. I mean, Paul Maneri said that was one of the reasons he retired was because he couldn't stand the idea of literally pillaging programs of friends of his. And so, but Jay Johnson's like, hey, I didn't make the rules. I don't like the rules, but we're going to be the best at breaking, at obeying the rules and taking advantage of the opportunity. And LSU is one of those schools that they're going to always be in the top, I think, 5 in the country in transfer portal, no matter who the coach is.
Ronnie, earlier in the show, we were talking about the transfer portal with LSU and how all of these coaches are trying to improve their roster. They're always working at roster development, and you mentioned how tough it is sometimes. You have to let kids go for whatever reason. And I mentioned how back in the early 90s during your time, I told your story I heard on the radio from 2 weeks ago, the Adrian Antonini story, where Skip brought him in and told him, you're no longer going to be here, but you've got a spot at Miami. The only way you're coming back is a pitcher. But we're talking about that and always working to improve your roster and build it. Just kind of to segue into your new gig with the Rougarou, talk about the challenge of building a roster for a college summer league team, but also how much fun it was playing that role as owner and general manager and building the roster and reaching out to past relationships to build it.
Well, it'll be a lot more fun this fall when I'm able to take advantage of those relationships because in summer baseball, majority of the players, the good players, they sign their summer commitments in the fall of where they're going to go the following year. And so I didn't take over the Rougarou until February, so I was behind the 8 ball, and that's reflecting a little bit in our roster this summer. But it will be fun. And look, you think it's a challenge for these coaches to get players to play for them. Imagine summer baseball where there's over 20 leagues you got to compete against, and you got to compete against girlfriends, pools, vacations, iPhones, guys that, I got what I needed. I played for 3 weeks, got a few more ABs, I'm good. It's a different day and age, trust me, for summer college baseball than it was just 10, 20, 30 years ago when guys were – I can remember we won national championships and we'd have like a day in Baton Rouge and then guys were, on a plane or in a car headed to go play summer ball. That's not the case anymore.
Rougarou on the road tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
Victoria Generals. Take a look at y'all's schedule. Then you stay on the road, Brazos Valley for the next 3, and then back at home Tuesday. I need to come check it out.
You really do. Yeah, next Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, we got home game. Every Friday night home game, we have fireworks during the 7th inning stretch. A 5-minute fireworks show that's fantastic. The guy who does the fireworks up in Natchitoches for the Hall of Fame and for the Christmas Festival, he does our fireworks. So he's a fantastic show. And, we have different events. It's minor league baseball with college players. So if you can't make it out, you can tune in on the weekends on 104.5 ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge, or you can check us out online. Go to TexasCollegiateLeague.com. You can watch the games online.
Can we get a couple of comps for Coach L and I at Will Call?
I mean, I wouldn't expect you guys to pay. Absolutely. I know you guys do well. You're definitely getting in free.
Showing the media pass. Definitely showing the media. And we appreciate it. Have fun this weekend. I know I was talking to Coach Held about it during the break. This is a fabulous event, the Sports Hall of Fame, and you do a great job with that. I don't know how you stretch out, my friend, but we appreciate it.
Tomorrow night, you can watch it live, 6 to 9:30 on lasportshall.com. lasportshall.com. We're streaming it live. It's also on Pelican Broadcasting. But we'll have the red carpet arrival show.
Lynn Rollins on the call?
Victor Howell hosting it. We've got Lynn voiced over all the packages. It's going to be great. So check it out tomorrow. lasportshall.com. It's 6 to 9:30.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Got it.
Ronnie Rantz. I don't know how he does it, man.
Guy wears a lot of hats.
I thought I had a bunch of jobs.
He's the guy spinning the plates. Gets to the end, has to run back and keep them all spinning.
What's the lady that spins the plates at the basketball game?
I don't know.
Panda? What is it?
Great question.
Red Panda.
Red Panda.
Wow.
I don't know if
She's been to LSU.
She's a unit. She's great.
Is that believable?
Absolutely. I've seen it happen. I saw it at a Pelicans game, though, not at LSU.
Not at LSU?
Not at LSU.
Might have been Pelicans then.
I was going to say she can kick rocks. Everybody wants us to do kick rocks. We can't do it. Terrio's not here.
It's patented.
Yeah.
You got to leave it alone. It's patented.
We'll leave it there. We'll take a break. We'll come right back on AFR.
AFR.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
The best things in summer are unofficial. Coors Light, the official beer of everything unofficial.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Kids have staked out their place at Auctioner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Auctioner Health Center for Children.
Join 100.7 The Tiger and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension, Saturday, June 25th at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center in Gonzales.
Enjoy live music from Ted Durr, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, and Jamie Badron and the Kickin' Cajuns. Make sure you grab a delicious plate of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safes Jambalaya Cook-Off to raise money for the Alzheimer's services of the capital area.
The Swamp Pop Music Festival with Supreme Chevrolet,
Louisiana's country station.
100.7 The Tiger.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off new Ford F-150s. We have new 2021 F-150s on our lot now with $10,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, remember, if you want to place your wagers, Major League Baseball, the College World Series, you can do so with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. Here's why it's relevant. Right now, the Stanley Cup Finals are underway, and DraftKings and the DraftKings Sportsbook has an amazing offer for you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make a $5 bet. Pick either team. Avalanche, Lightning, doesn't matter. Make a $5 bet. Win or lose, doesn't matter. We're going to give you $100 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook, but you've got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Bet $5 on an Stanley Cup Finals matchup. Any winner, no matter the result, you get $100 in free bets. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP.
I never bet on hockey. Do you?
I have.
I mean, what do you read about it?
I
heard
show,
Coach Sloan was looking
Daily
for
Line, the Daily Line. Listen to that every now and then. Good stuff.
They give hockey picks out?
Appreciate it.
Yep. Yes,
so
they
y'all
do.
give hockey picks out?
Every now and then. So we
Every
get a
now and
guest to
then.
do it. I don't.
I like the major picks, like the major sports.
Odd has his guy.
Colucci?
Yes.
I love it.
Where's the octopus being thrown out on the ice? That's awesome. But they have the Daily Wager show on ESPN. They'll give out a pick. So every now and then you're bored, you're hitting the guide, nothing's on TV, 5:30, and then they come up with the hockey pick, and you get bored, and you're like, oh, let me just have action on this. And they'll have some prop bet that they talk about, and they've done their research, and, hey, it hits, and you have a little bit more in your
I got
bankroll.
buddies telling me they're betting on Russian ping pong.
Yeah,
I
haven't done that.
When are y'all going to start breaking down Russian ping pong, Musso?
I won't. To steal a line from Jimmy Ott, even I have standards.
That's great, and that's
Some
huge.
people bet on that.
I have a number for you to call if you're betting on that.
You're right.
I got to get it to my buddies.
I've bet cricket before. I've bet cricket.
Wait, did you win?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. All right.
I actually did some research.
My
about
name is
5
Eric
minutes
Held,
of
and I have a
research.
problem.
No, I just said, hey, I had a free bet or whatever, and
Gotcha.
it was almost out. It was almost gone. I had like an hour left, and they had cricket. I forgot I had it, and so I had to use the $25 free bet on cricket and bet Sri Lanka, and they were victorious.
DraftKings, the official betting app.
Wasn't DraftKings, however,
for guarantee broadcasting.
victory, but for DraftKings,
Speaking of betting,
AFR, yes.
we got about a minute before we go to the top. We'll have John Brady on the other side. Can't wait to have him on. What about Mincy, man? Ben Mintz he's on a heater right now. I mean, he's Ole Miss.
Ever since he ripped the Vandy Whistler at the SEC tournament, everything's turned around for Ole Miss.
You right.
Things turned around for Ole Miss.
You right.
I thought that was great. I wanted to reach out through the phone into Twitterverse and shake hands with him for doing that. Not many things
the
annoy
Vandy
me,
Whistler could
but
kick
the Vandy
rocks.
Absolutely. Both of those guys.
There was a dude.
Kick rock.
I don't
There
know
we
if it
go.
was a dude or a girl in Hattiesburg. Throw the ball in the dirt. I was there. I heard it. It sounded like a screeching cat was the whole time. Look, no shade to Southern Miss. No pun intended. They had no shade there. It was completely a barbecue pit out there because you sit in those metal bleachers, but it's a nice little park. But he was just such an annoying voice. Throw the ball in the dirt. And I know they've talked about it on every show, but anyway, don't be annoying. So hopefully we haven't been annoying the last 2 hours. We got one more hour to go. We'll be right back.
AFR.
Hey, look, if you were in the market for a new vehicle, I know buying a vehicle has been tough in the past year or so. It's been hard for places to keep inventory. I tell you every day about South Point Volkswagen. You know where they are. Airline just north of Highland. You can shop them online at southpointvw.com. Would highly recommend you start at the website. If it's on the lot, it's online. And just a couple of weeks ago, they got 4 truckloads of vehicles that arrived on the lot. So they have inventory. A lot of Atlases as well, which is the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. And of course, look, there are some vehicles that are tough to come by, but what South Point can do, because they've got such a great relationship, because they move so much inventory, they will search to get whatever vehicle that you're looking for. So it's worth a call over there. It's worth stopping by the dealership to say, look, I'm looking for an Atlas, a Tiguan, this color, these features. They'll go shop high and low to find it for you and to get it here in Baton Rouge. SouthPointVW.com. New or certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
I've been doing business with Leboeuf for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Just before today's arbitration hearing, the Yankees and outfielder Aaron Judge agree on a $19 million contract for this year. But if the two sides don't reach a long-term deal, Judge could become a free agent at the end of this season. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Steve Clifford is coming back to coach the Hornets. Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson accepted the job during the NBA Finals, but then changed his mind. Clifford coached the Hornets for 5 seasons, ending in 2018. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Denver, with the Avalanche hosting the Lightning and leading the series 3-1. A win tonight gives Colorado their first Stanley Cup since 2001. What can the Lightning do to stop it? ESPN's Kevin Weeks.
If I'm them, I come out shooting early and often, try to establish the shot, try to put Colorado under duress, because Colorado's great at home in front of their amazing fans.
Kevin Weeks on This Just In. Our Game 5 Stanley Cup Final coverage set for 8 Eastern on ABC TV.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Let's ride.
Hour number 3 in the home stretch here. Troy Leboeuf, Eric Held filling in for the vacationing Matt Moscona. Matt's catching some baseball tonight, I think.
Yankees?
Yes, big Yankees fan.
He is.
Musso
Like
is
me.
not a Yankees fan. He's a Red Sox fan.
Correct.
Gee.
Paul O'Neill, Matt Musso helping us out today. We certainly appreciate it. I know everybody's quitting time. It's 5 o'clock. Most people are off already. And a guy that always knows how to have a great time playing great golf. I appreciate him slipping us in there. Love him, Coach John Brady. Hey, Coach.
How you guys doing?
It's hot, Coach. It's hot. And I know, is it hot on
brutal.
the course?
Yeah, well, I played this morning. Now, you say play great golf. That's a little stretch. Just because you play a lot of golf doesn't mean you're any good. But I enjoy it.
You play to be great. You play to have fun and enjoy
That's
it.
it, exactly.
Coach John,
exactly right.
Coach John Brady, the color analyst for LSU Sports Radio Network. Coach, let's talk about a guy that you covered this year, and it seemed like he just jumped off the boards. He's a super athlete. I'm going to let you talk about him, Tari Eason.
Well, I think he's going to do fine, because I think he's a multiple type of player. He can score, he can shoot it from the perimeter, he can drive and take it to the rim. He's got length, and I don't know if this was a very deep draft. I think, I disagree with a couple of people I heard it was a deep draft. I think after you got past the first 10 or 12, when I listened to Jay Billis, people were recruiting specific guys to do specific things. This guy maybe couldn't shoot, this guy could, but the way he described, what Jay Billis described Tari Eason was what I see. I think he can do a lot of things. I think he's going to survive in that league, and I think he'll be a good player. How good he is, time will tell, but he can play both ends of the floor. And in all the time that I was around that team, through some really great moments and some not so good moments, I never saw him do anything but respond to coaching and what Coach Wade wanted him to do. So I think that's a plus in his corner as well, to take coaching, receive coaching, absorb it, and then turn it into better play.
Coach, just a little bit more on Tari Eason, Eric Held here. Is he an anomaly, meaning at LSU he started a handful of games this past year and scored a whole bunch of points?
Right.
Really good on defense. Just an anomaly from a standpoint of a guy that wasn't a regular everyday starter, even though he played more than half the minutes. Are we starting to see a trend toward that?
I'm not sure. I think Tari probably should have started and deserved to start because he was the best player, hands down. And rarely do you ever see arguably the best player on the team come off the bench. Now, I think it developed like that as the season went along, and I think Coach Wade went with that because they were successful with it. And Tari didn't seem to bust down the coach's door and say, I want to start or else. And I think that's a tribute to him and his attitude. So I've always thought, you play your best players, but by the way they earn it in the practice. This developed a little differently. I don't think, I know Coach McMahon, I've been up there to see him and meet with him a little bit and talk to him. And, it just depends on how the team unfolds. But I don't think you'll start seeing any team's best player come off the bench. I think for the most part, I think Tari Eason was our best player. I was surprised that he didn't start throughout the rest of the season because of the production that you got from him. But I think it goes back and speaks what Coach Wade thought the team was developing well, playing well with him off the bench. And I really do think it gave the team a boost when he did come in the game. But I don't think it's something that you're going to see around the country, that the team's best players coming off the bench now. I don't think that's going to happen.
Speaking with Coach John Brady, color analyst for the LSU Sports Radio Network, LSU Hoops. Coach, you had a chance, obviously, to coach Jabari Smith Sr. His son went third to the Rockets. Whew, I don't know if I could have passed up on him. And I know that no disrespect to Banchero from Duke and the homegrown kid from Gonzaga, but he looks like Kevin Durant right now.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy. He's much more mobile than his dad, and his dad could shoot it from the perimeter. He didn't have those the fluidness of what his son does. I texted Jabari yesterday afternoon, and then I didn't know Butch Pierre went to New York and was there with Jabari for his son, and I didn't. And they called me last night on FaceTime. And I didn't get the message till this morning, so I was disappointed I didn't get to receive the call. But that was nice of Butch to go up there. Jabari's a great guy. His son is a good guy. You could tell it by the way, his son was interviewed last night, how appreciative he is and the attitude that he has. And it's interesting, to be able to coach his father and then watch his son be such one of the best players in the country is really it's kind of neat, but it also lets you know that I'm getting a little older now, and so if I've coached somebody and then their son is now playing and he's going to play in the NBA, then I've been around for a while. But Jabari was great. He and Stromile together at LSU made a great duo. They got along well.
What were those practices like? I mean, nobody could put the ball on the glass. That was being pinned.
Yeah. I mean, we were a really good defensive team that year, and it was because of those two guys. And I think his son is really going to be an outstanding pro. I don't think there's anything he can't do. And he's going to be receptive to coaching as well. He's going to accept the challenges the coach puts on him. And I think he's going to be – if he's not an all-star, then I don't know who can be. But I think after a year or two that Jabari Jr. is going to be an all-star in the NBA.
Coach Brady, Matt McMahon, you've had a chance to talk to him a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just amazed what he's done early with this program, and I knew, I did some reading up on it, research and all. He's a very interesting coach. I mean, I love to listen to him speak. Talk about what he's done with this roster in just a short amount of time. And when most people had the LSU team as a team that was not going to win a game in the SEC next year, they're going to be a very respectful basketball team.
I think they may be better than that. And the staff he's put together, two of those guys I know really, really well. And He's put together a collection of really good people that know the game, and the way he's restocked the team in a short period of time. And that's one thing about the transfer portal and those type of things. When you can transfer without sitting, you can put together a team maybe a little more quickly than you could, several years ago. So they've done a great job. They've mixed it with some transfers, some older players, plus they've got some freshmen coming in as well. So I really think it depends on a short period of time. When you have a collection of new players, sometimes it takes some time to develop the chemistry necessary to win at the high level. So I think the coach now, in today's game, the coach that can quicker put a team together that can build a camaraderie that championship teams possess in a shorter period of time, those are the guys who are going to be successful. And I think that's the challenge. I think the talent of this team coming in is going to be quite good. We're going to have to see if they can play together, share the ball, get along. The first 20 games last year, 25 games, that LSU team last year shared the ball as good as any. Then the injuries hit them, and it stopped them in the middle of a good thing they had created, and they never really got it back. They kind of scrambled at the end. But if this team can develop the attitude of sharing the ball, I think the talent level is good enough, and they're going to surprise some people. And Coach McMahon and his staff they've done a remarkable job.
Right across the hall, Coach Kim Mulkey just gets commitment from Michaela Williams, the number one player in the country in 2023, the Mulkey effect. She's a fantastic player, and I know you got a lot of admiration for Coach Mulkey.
Well, what a great hire. I mean, that was a great hire, and you knew she was going to win. She's used to winning. She's got the confidence that it takes to win at that level. I think young ladies want to come play for her because she's kind of a player's coach. Even though she's demanding, I think players really want to come play for her because they know she has a record of making players better and getting them to the place they want to be. So for her to come in and what she did last year, National Coach of the Year, SEC Coach of the Year, and now signing the best player in the country, who knows what may happen. It looks like they're on their way to really playing for a national championship in a short period of time.
Coach Brady, as always, love to have you on when I host. Keep hitting them straight. Stay hydrated. Look forward to basketball season with you.
We'll do it, guys. Thanks much.
All right, appreciate it, Coach John Brady. One of the best. I loved him as a basketball coach.
Always great to have on. Always great.
He was
great insight.
He, as a young basketball coach, when he was at LSU, I was a high school coach and would go to clinics, and I think I emailed him one time. He emailed me immediately. I had some questions on some things. He was very approachable. Loved to watch his fire. He should be remembered as one of the best to coach around here. We'll take a timeout. We got Coach Hale's guy coming on next. Aaron Schatz of Football Outsiders at Football Outsiders. Those folks that are listening, if you want to get a little preview of him, go check him out on Twitter at Football Outsiders. We'll talk some football with Aaron next on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. Remember the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations, brgeneral.org. Whatever symptoms you may be having, if you need to see a doctor quickly, but you don't want to go to the ER and maybe it's going to take a while till you can get in to see your doctor, just look up one of the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. You can check in online. Go to brgeneral.org. There's the check-in online tab right there, brgeneral.org. And they got locations all over Baton Rouge, from Dutchtown to bordering LSU's campus and points in between. The Nicholson location is directly across from Tiger Stadium, and the Highland Road location is just through the south gates of LSU, right there in the shopping center. The Baton Rouge General Express Care and Urgent Care locations, walk-in urgent care 7 days a week for all the symptoms and what they treat. Check it out online at brgeneral.org. To check in online, it's right there at brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2021 Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Gladiators on our lot now with $5,000 off MSRP. And all new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Join 100.7 The Tiger and Our Lady of the Lake Ascension, Saturday, June 25th at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center in Gonzales.
Enjoy live music from Ted Durr, Mike Broussard and the Night Train, and Jamie Badron and the Kickin' Cajuns. Make sure you grab a delicious plate of jambalaya from the Mike Ward's Liberty Safes Jambalaya Cook-Off to raise money for the Alzheimer's services of the capital area.
The Swamp Pop Music Festival with Supreme Chevrolet.
Louisiana's country station.
100.7 The Tiger.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right, and then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center. And it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Back on AFR, Troy Leboeuf, Eric Held. A couple of segments left. Happy to bring on our next guest that my broadcast partner here today, my co-host, was able to get. Mr. Aaron Schatz of Football Outsiders at Football Outsiders at FO_A Schatz. Aaron, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. Appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Aaron, first up, Eric here. Thanks again for joining us. In reference to the coach rankings that you guys do, what is your formula and the variables that you use to grade coaches and formulate your head coach rankings for NFL coaches? And then just talk a little bit about Saints head coach Dennis Allen. I know he's a first-year guy, but how he may fit in here based on what he's done as a previous head coach and then as a defensive coordinator for so many years?
Yeah, well, the head coach rankings at Edge Sports, which is our parent company, are basically based on, they don't try to rank every part of head coaching. I mean, they don't really incorporate, if you think about inspiration, how you inspire and teach your players. What it does look at is two main things. One is how good is the team playing? And the second is how good are your decisions when it comes to fourth down situations where analytics suggests that being more aggressive can lead to more wins. So we're very big on the idea that coaches need to go for it more often on fourth downs, keep their offenses on the field. That, in today's league where offenses are so far ahead of defenses, your chances of converting those fourth and shorts are so strong that you need to keep your offense on the field. And so, we want coaches who are really aggressive on fourth down. Sean Payton, of course, is really good in both of those areas, right? I mean, the Saints have been an excellent team for the last few years, and he was always one of the most aggressive coaches on fourth down throughout his entire career. I don't know what's going to happen with Dennis Allen. It's interesting. Allen was not particularly aggressive when he was head coach of the Raiders, but he could have learned from Payton. It's absolutely possible we're going to see a very different Dennis Allen as head coach this time. And as far as what it means for him coming from the defensive coordinator slot, again, what you hope is that this is different from the Raiders' experience, because with the Raiders' experience, when he became the head coach and he couldn't put as much attention into the defense, their defense really declined. You do not want to see that for the Saints. Hopefully he's learned from what happened with the Raiders. He puts the right amount of attention on that defense, and their defense still stays among the best in the league. That's how we're projecting it for this season.
Aaron Schatz of the Football Outsiders. It's fabulous. Go check out his Twitter. It's got some really good stuff. You really like to dig into a lot of the stuff in the NFL. He talks about so many different things. Just very knowledgeable. I want to stick with the Saints. And you talk about Dennis Allen. Will he take chances or what have you? Now, it'll be a situation where it's a new quarterback and Jameis Winston's taking over. Talk about Jameis taking over as the Saints quarterback. Your thoughts on him?
Well, he's not quite taking over. I mean, if you think about it, he was the guy in camp last year. He was the guy for the first half of the year. Jameis Winston has always been a slightly above average quarterback, except for the 1 year where he threw 30 interceptions. But that year stands out like a sore thumb on his record. And the fact is, other than that 1 year, he has always been a little bit underrated as a quarterback because he's got a good deep ball. He doesn't throw as many picks as you think, except 1 year where things got a little nuts in the Bruce Arians offense. So last year, if you look at our per-play efficiency rating, Winston was 10th in the league. Now, obviously, that's in a limited sample, right, because he played less than half the season. But he's always been a little bit above average. So let's expect that their offense is going to lose something from not having Sean Payton to run things anymore, which I think is reasonable belief. We still expect them to have an average offense. And when you put that together with what we think will be one of the top defenses in the league, that is a team that is a lot better than people are expecting.
Aaron, about how many wins do you guys project the Saints to hit in 2022?
Our average projection has them around 9.5, 10 wins.
That's, you look at the betting lines and everything, and so much is going on with the betting world. They have them somewhere around 8.5, I think. It seems like I like where you guys have it around the 9.5 to 10 range. Staying with the Saints offense. Part of the factor coming into it is going to be Alvin Kamara, obviously, and a lot of reports coming out now that certainly, to no surprise, he's going to be suspended. They're looking at maybe 5-6 games. What do the Saints do in that situation, Aaron, without an Alvin Kamara?
Yeah, it's tough. Kamara wasn't really that good last year, especially on the ground. He was very inefficient last year. But obviously, his value as a receiver is really meaningful, and Mark Ingram can't replace that. So, there's no question it's a loss if they have to go without Kamara for 6 games. But If Michael Thomas is back healthy, and I know that's a big if, but if he is back healthy, I think that they can overcome the loss of Kamara in those first few games with that Thomas, Olave, Landry combination that they're going to have at the wide receiver position.
Aaron, shifting away from the Saints just a bit, we know in the last couple decades where we start to see analytics creep into the NFL with the Eagles hiring analytics personnel, and then the Ravens, of course, with Harbaugh coming there with the Eagles background. Recently, McCarthy with Dallas hiring 4 analytics guys, specific just to measure those things when he was hired a couple years ago. Chargers with Staley. How much are analytics used in coach interviews now, and how more open-minded are GMs and head coaches these days to expanding their thinking?
Things really changed. When the Eagles won the Super Bowl very publicly using analytics, things really changed as far as the acceptance in the NFL. So there's no question it's a part of coach interviews. There's no question it's a part of what coaches do. All 32 teams now have at least one person in an analytics department to analyze things, and they have data. The next-gen stats data, right, the data from the tracking of plays with the chips in the player's pad, just creates this fire hose of data that is hard to control, but like if you can figure out what to do with it, it just gives you a ton of data to study how good players are, not just at positions where we're used to having stats like quarterback, but, coverage and offensive line play and pass rush and all kinds of places where we didn't really have the ability to use analytics in the past. So there's no question it's just come a long way in the last few years, and every team is doing at least a little bit of something.
Aaron, obviously with what the Bengals did last year with a guy that we know very well from here, Joe Burrow, and what do you see him this year? Is it going to be a letdown? I mean, I'm looking at some of your analytics. It's going to be a very tough schedule for him. According to your rankings, the number 2 hardest schedule by average projected DVOA of opponent. So what do you think about the Bengals?
Yeah, the Bengals, our numbers did not think the Bengals were really that good during the regular season last year. They were a very average team that got hot in the playoffs. They played much better in the postseason. So, normally you see that team kind of come back to how it played during the regular season the year before, but they should be a little bit better this year. So, I think they're a good team, but it's going to be a tough schedule. Baltimore should be a lot healthier this year. Obviously Burrow is a stud, but, they still have problems. They've improved their offensive line, but he still takes a lot of sacks. They have the strong receivers, but they don't have depth in case of injuries at that position. There's still some question marks on their defense. I think they're going to be a good but not great team. I think they'll be in the mix, but the likelihood that they're going to repeat as AFC champions is small.
Aaron, we certainly appreciate your time. Coach, you got something
Before we
me?
let you go, Aaron, real quick, put you on the spot, Super Bowl prediction.
Right now, I would say the Buffalo Bills, and I'll go a little bit out of pocket here, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I thought you were going to say the Saints and make everybody happy over here.
Nah, I don't like their offense. I like their offense, but not that much.
Right.
Awesome.
Man, this is really good, Aaron. This is certainly different talk. Analytics is big. If folks want to follow you, obviously we gave them the Twitter handle, but as far as like podcasts and stuff like that, how can they follow your stuff?
Yeah, the site is footballoutsiders.com. You'll see there's a lot of historical stuff we've run this last week, like doing our numbers for old years. All the podcasts are linked there as well in our live streams that we do over YouTube at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays, and then every day during the season. You'll find all of that stuff linked. Footballoutsiders.com, or like you said on Twitter, FB Outsiders is the Twitter handle for Football Outsiders.
All right, Aaron, we appreciate it, man. Have a great weekend.
Hey, you guys too.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Aaron.
Thanks for coming on. Very interesting.
Really interesting.
He's a Moneyball guy.
Yeah, he's the Bill James of football. Something I found years ago that really helped me was reading up about some of the stuff, and as a special teams guy, the value of field position and going a step further with it and coming up with some metrics and just taking that on the side, not really giving it to the kids, but just for my own study and some of the things with the value of starting field position and how it helps with first downs for your offense to where you can factor in, hey, how good, really good is your special teams with your coverage guys, your return guys. And so that's kind of where I first found his work 15 or 20 years ago. Really good stuff.
I'll be checking it out. Take a break. When we come back, we'll have Jake Madison, Locked on Pels, coming up next. We'll break down the Pels draft, NBA draft as a whole. Don't go anywhere.
AFR.
Rouse's is the official supermarket of LSU athletics and the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. So if it's game day or any day, always get by Rouse's. Locations all over the state of Louisiana. You can find that location nearest you at rouses.com, rouses.com. We shop at Rouse's. Love Rouse's. If it's going to get groceries, things even like formula for Drew or our everyday needs that you'd find at a grocery store, or if it's something like Sunday after church, we pop in. We love to go over to the market side of it. We love to go get the brisket and the sides that we love to do for lunch or dinner, grab-and-go options, sushi and seafood. They've got it all at Rouse's. If you're throwing a party, they've got all your party trays and desserts, and, of course, a great selection of local craft beer, all the domestics, large wine, and liquor selection as well. That is at Rouse's, where they have delivery and pickup options also. So order on the Rouse's app or at rouses.com. They'll bring it out to you. It's Rouse's, where this feels like home.
For over 53 years, customers have been heading to Happy Town for the Corval Toyota experience. Why? Because they choose to get an outstanding price and amazing customer service. Want the same and get treated like family? Then Corval Toyota in Opelousas is the dealership for you. Corval vehicles have been cruising around Acadiana for 5 decades. Corval Toyota is here to stay, and we want to keep you rolling. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
My own people call me an Uncle Tom. I play music. Been wined and dined by royalty. Trying to bring people together. All people. But regardless of all that kind of stuff, I'm still Louis Armstrong.
Here's the man you're waiting for, the king of jazz, Louis Satchmo Armstrong.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-111.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Brought to you by by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana makes that happen. Hormone replacement therapy, you don't need an appointment. When you're on routine therapy, you go in on your given day, whichever day is best for you. You're in and out in less than 10 minutes. The Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. Feel better. So many times you don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. They can help you out. TheAntiAgingClinics.com, TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
Back on AFR with Troy Leboeuf, Eric Held. Bringing in our next guest at NOLA, Jake Madison, host of Locked on Pels. Jake was in his element last night, I know, and I'm sitting there texting him, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? This dude is working. I just wanted to chat with you, man. I was feeling the draft. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. It was fun. I think I was about to record live when you texted me, and I was like, yeah, I can't respond right then. But an eventful night for the New Orleans Pelicans, that's for sure.
Well, I tell you what, I do apologize. I should have known that you were doing some work like that. But that was a very good draft, man. I mean, obviously I'm not a draft analyst. You cover this for a living. I'm a former high school basketball coach, and I love hoops. But Dyson Daniels, E.J. Liddell, which I thought was a value pick, big time. I was looking around and obviously following your stuff as well. It seems like positives across the board for what the Pels did in the draft.
Yeah, they didn't overthink anything, and it was kind of nice to see them do that. They went through their draft process. They really identified early on that they liked Dyson Daniels. He's one of the first guys that they brought in for a pre-draft workout, and when he was available there at 8, it was a no-brainer for them to get their guy, and I think he represents a lot of the type of player profile they're looking to bring in right now. You see that a lot of teams are relying on kind of playmaking wings, and Dyson Daniels is going to bring that. At 19 years old, 6'7.5", with almost a 6'11" wingspan, he can create on the perimeter. He can play the guard position. He can play the kind of 3 small forward if you need him to, and try and create for others. The first thing you notice with him is his passing. For a team without a true point guard, getting another kind of ball handler in here that can create shots for others, I think is going to be a really big thing for this team. And then defensively, I think he's one of the better perimeter defenders in the draft. He can guard 3-4 positions. I think they tend to like that because the Pelicans want to run a very switch-heavy scheme defensively. So he just kind of represents everything they really look for. And the one knock on him is his lack of three-point shooting. But he wowed them in the pre-draft workout, shooting the ball well. When you look at his form, his mechanics, it's pretty good with a very high release point. He's going to get a lot of good catch-and-shoot opportunities here in New Orleans. And if he starts thinking those, I would not be shocked at the defense that he brings if he plays early for this team. And then in the second round, they got a steal, I think. E.J. Liddell out of Ohio State. This is a guy that on my big board when I was ranking prospects, I had him at 19th. I thought he was the 19th best prospect in the draft. So to get him in the 40s, I think was a no-brainer move for New Orleans, and I think they were kind of surprised that he was there. But this is a guy that all of a sudden you've got to kind of create a roster spot for him. I don't think they were expecting to bring any of these second-round picks that they had last night and bring them into the regular season. And now you're going to need to find some room for E.J. Liddell. He's got good size at 6'7", 6'8". He plays active defense, can guard multiple positions. You see a little bit of David West in him, being a strong post-up player with the ability to create for others as well. So I think that this was a bit of a home run of a draft for New Orleans and couldn't have gone any better.
Jake, you touched on it a little bit, but I was thinking, and I was looking at the analysis from the NBA guys, so Jay Billis and all the folks that were up there. Any concern with Daniels not being able to shoot the basketball?
That's the one knock on him, and I think that's one of the reasons he didn't go higher in the draft. And I think New Orleans feels they can develop that, and I think that's one of the areas they feel really confident in. They have one of the better shot coaches in the league in Fred Vinson, who's been the assistant coach here for a really long time. He developed Lonzo Ball and made his three-point shot consistent, fixed his mechanics, which were terrible before coming to New Orleans. Brandon Ingram has blossomed a little bit as a three-point shooter since he's been here with the Pelicans. And then, of course, you have Herb Jones, right, who's a somewhat similar player in a sense, to Dyson Daniels, known as a defense-first guy who people weren't sure he had the offense. And he was a good enough three-point shooter, and looks like he's still improving on that front as the season went on. So I think you won't see Dyson Daniels get minutes early on because he's got to work on that three-point shot. But if they do develop it as this team feels they can do, this is a guy that's going to be a starter eventually for this team, and probably sooner rather than later. And I think they feel they probably got a bit of a steal in him because of that. They know that maybe other teams can't develop this guy's three-point shot as well as they can, and they think that he's going to blossom here in New Orleans compared to other teams and other opportunities.
Jake, E.J. Liddell slips to the 41st pick overall. Talk about maybe why he slid that far and was kind of a surprise to be able to fall to the Pelicans at 41. And then a little bit on that last pick, the third one for the Pelicans, in Karlo Makovic.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why Liddell fell. It could be that he was a junior, so he's a little bit older. You tend to be looking to take freshmen or sophomores in the first round. At 6'7", he's got good size, but he does not have elite athleticism. I think this is a guy that kind of moves side to side, not as well as some of the other guys available. And I wonder if teams maybe looked at him and wondered if he'd be able to fit in a switching scheme and how effective he would be defensively. But, you could use the phrase, right? Like, the guy's got some dog in him. Early on in the season, he played against Paolo Banchero, the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and he shut him down and held Banchero to one of his worst performances all season long. So I think New Orleans, with him there at 42, just felt it was tremendous value. Trajan Langdon, the Pelicans general manager, said they had a first-round grade on him. I had him as a top 20 guy in this draft. He's still got good defensive versatility. I think he's a good post scorer and an above-average passer, and he's not a bad spot-up shooter. The Pelicans need another stretch big, and this is a guy that on spot-up situations shot 37.5% from three last season. If that translates to the NBA, New Orleans got another steal in the second round, showing that they can develop those guys, find a spot in the rotation for them, and they're going to definitely need to make some sort of trade to clear a roster spot for him because they don't really have the space on the team right now. And then the final pick, he's going to be a draft and stash. Again, the big problem going into draft night for New Orleans was a lack of roster spots. They'd already had 14 guaranteed contracts on the team. It's now 15, the maximum you can have with Dyson Daniels. All of a sudden, you need to find room for E.J. Liddell. So Makovic is a guy who's going to play another season overseas before they maybe consider bringing him over. So it's a draft and stash. He's more of a small ball center. He's a guy that's kind of an athletic, finishing big man. He likes to kind of throw down lobs, play in the pick and roll. I think they'll kick the tires on bringing him back over to the NBA next season. You may see him with the team in Summer League as well, but don't expect to see him playing in the NBA next year.
Jake Madison of Locked On Pels, at NOLA Jake. One more for you. Outside of the Pels, which I think we agreed they had a good draft, who were a couple of other teams that had really good drafts?
I think the Detroit Pistons did really well. Part of it was just kind of handed to them with the way Jaden Ivey fell to them with the Kings taking Keegan Murray at 4. That was kind of a no-brainer selection for them. And sometimes it's just nice not to see teams overthink it, right? You see some teams try and get cute, do a little bit too much, try and trade back and get value and things like that, and that's not always the best move. I really liked that pick for the Pistons, getting him, making a couple of other moves throughout the draft as well. And then I really liked the Miami Heat drafting Nikola Jovic. I got to make sure I don't get that wrong and call him Nikola Jokic here. The guy that's a European player that's kind of a point forward, a bit of a creator, a tall wing in the vein of Dyson Daniels that I think just kind of fits the Miami Heat really well. Getting him at 27, I think was great. That's a guy that could have been up higher a little bit as well. And then the Houston Rockets also did well. They took the best player available, a guy that everyone thought was going to be the number 1 overall pick in Jabari Smith, getting him at 3. I like that they got Tari Eason at 7 out of LSU. I think he's a really good hustle guy that's going to kind of fill that Josh Hart role for the Houston Rockets. You always want a guy like that on your team, and I believe his three-point shot is real. So I thought they had an overall very good draft as well.
Stephen A. Smith has said the Knicks had a terrible draft. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's like the definition of getting too cute. That's the definition of just trying to do a little bit too much. I'm still trying to kind of figure out all of the picks that were involved in the trades that they made the other night. Yeah, they got a lot of future first-round picks, but they're all very heavily protected. So those picks are going to fall in the 25 range, which isn't a great first-round pick. So while it's nice that you have a lot of them, I don't necessarily know if quantity makes up for quality there. And so I'm really not sure what they did. And they're just trying to, it seems like, clear cap space to make a run at mediocre free agents that aren't going to improve their team a whole lot. So, yeah, I kind of look at that and am just very confused by what they were doing.
In our chat app, everybody's worried about Zion gaining weight. Put the folks, 30 seconds, Jake. Put them at ease that Zion's going to be good.
Google the pictures of him. He's cut right now. He looks amazing. This is, maybe the off season where the light bulb goes on, where he's kind of like taking this as seriously as he should. He's in shape. He's been in New Orleans, working out, being involved in the community. He's doing everything you could want from him right now. That bodes well because he hasn't done that in the past.
Pels in the NBA Finals next year. Calling it.
Look, make my life really fun. So I definitely hope that that's the case.
Go check him out. He does a fantastic job. He does a podcast every day. Locked on Pels at NOLA. Jake, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me on today.
All right. That's Jake Madison. We'll take our last time out. Load some questions up if you want in the chat. I have the chat pulled up. We'll answer them, those that are appropriate. And at the end of the show, what did each of us learn? I got mine written down. That's your homework, guys. Find out what did you learn today. We'll be right back.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet. Dine in or carry out 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. What more could you possibly want? How about sandwiches? Well, they've got those. What about salads? Pluckers actually has really underrated salads. Giant, gorgeous, fresh salads. You can actually eat healthy at Pluckers. Or you could just binge. Award-winning jumbo chicken wings tossed in your favorite sauce. You want to create your own menu item? Do it. They encourage the creativity. Great sides as well, like the cheese fries, the El Guapo dip, maybe the homemade blue cheese potato chips, holy macaroni, fried pickles. They got it all at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. The best place to watch the game, which game? Any game is at Pluckers because you can eat wings, drink beer, and watch sports on TV. Remember, at Pluckers, if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Leboeuf for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Final segment. We certainly appreciate it. It's been really fun. I appreciate Coach Held coming in. Love doing it with him. Appreciate Musso, Paul O'Neal. Those guys they have been attentive to us. They haven't had one foot out the door. Musso's going on vacation. I mean, they've been really. Matt would be proud. He really would be proud. So, probably not. If he ever gives you a compliment, you probably look at him.
You just mark the tape,
right?
Cut it and hold it for later.
Should have given a down the stretch they come. With that being said, hey,
totally forgot.
Final segment when Ott would come on, right?
We did.
Churchill Downs tomorrow, Saturday. Got to give it. Race 2.
What we're betting. But he comes in on Fridays early, so we're not betting. He's betting today, I promise you.
Key to Life, Race 2, Churchill Downs, Saturday. There you go. There's your bet.
You and I were talking about Arch, and I know everybody's like, quit talking about Arch. He's not coming to LSU. But you were talking to a very prominent coach, high school coach in Louisiana. Because a lot of, some naysayers out there about Arch. He doesn't play against really good competition, which I don't.
It's warranted in some
games.
ways, yeah.
I love Nelson Stewart's a really good head coach.
Tremendous.
Without giving the name of the coach, give us, and this is a well-respected coach. Tell us what that coach said about Arch.
I think his athleticism is so underrated. Him carrying the ball is almost as scary as him throwing it. His football IQ is higher than I see people giving him credit. Very well said.
He does have
100% accurate.
I've watched him enough times in person and obviously on film to see, whatever competition he's playing against, when he gets to Texas and he's going to battle for the quarterback job, he's going to be playing with other 4 and 5 stars. He's one of only 3 that had a perfect rating. Or the other 2.
Texas. Vince Young was one. Can't remember the other.
I'm pretty sure it's Quinn Ewers. Who's that?
You're right.
I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right.
Pretty sure.
The anti-recruit of how things work in 2022, Arch Manning. No hats, no top 15 lists, top 12 lists, none of that. This has been well structured and well orchestrated and planned and organized, and can't get any better than Grandpa Archie, and then of course Peyton, Eli, and even Cooper, who was involved in being recruited as well.
Go look at Michaela Williams, Parkway High School. Go watch her video on Twitter if you want to learn how to do your announcement, or even what Arch did, which wasn't a big announcement. When his buddy, the tight end, committed to Texas, Randall, I was like, it's a done deal. That's where he's going, and he's going to be very good. LSU's going to be fine, folks. Don't panic. They're gonna get some players, as we heard Billy Embody say earlier. There'll be some stuff starting to drop. Man, appreciate all of our guests today. Speaking of Billy Embody, Neal McCready, Joe Sloan, Ronnie Rantz, John Brady, Aaron Schatz, Jake Madison. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody. Appreciate all of those folks coming on. But it's the end of the show, and I have to ask you guys, what did you learn? Coach Held, what did you learn today?
Learn that Mike Bianco was done if they didn't make the regionals.
Toast.
Unbelievable. Neal said it. He had the story written, and here he is playing for a College World Series. Great for him.
Musso, what did you learn?
Jake Madison really liked that Tari Eason to Houston pick.
Good pick. Very good pick. Paul O'Neill, what did you learn?
I learned that Neal McCready is actually not an Ole Miss fan.
Were you reading my notes over here? But you're right. That's a good pickup. He is not an Ole Miss fan. He kind of got on me about asking him if I was excited about it. If he was excited about it.
Has more of a Louisiana background than Mississippi.
What did I learn today? I have to change now because I had that one written down, but that's okay. I learned that the Baton Rouge Rougarou are going to be better next year because that's what Ronnie Rantz says.
That was note number 2 for me after Bianco.
He got in late on getting those guys. He got in late.
Cool.
Man, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. James Fortenberry in the chat. What horse at Churchill? Key to Life, Saturday, Churchill, race 2.
Go check out, James, go check out Stephen A. Smith on Twitter. You'll see what he did. You guys take care. We appreciate it. Thanks, Musso. Thanks, Paul.
Great job, guys.
AFR.
Love telling you about GMFS Mortgage because I love telling you about great people that can help you change your life financially. That's what GMFS Mortgage does every single day. GMFSmortgage.com. Maybe it's helping you as a family build wealth by realizing the American dream of home ownership. You own your own home. You start to build equity in that home. You start to build wealth. GMFS Mortgage can help you do that. Maybe you own your home, and with the economy doing what it's done here in the last year plus, you've had to tighten the belt a little bit. 7% inflation? My goodness. What if you could lower your monthly mortgage payment? You essentially give yourself a raise by lowering how much you pay every month on your mortgage. You can do it by refinancing your mortgage. When we refinanced our mortgage, we skipped 2 payments because of how they scheduled closing. What if you could skip 2 mortgage payments and lower your monthly mortgage payment? That would absolutely help you financially. GMFSmortgage.com. They can help. Find a local loan officer nearest you at GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.